Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Hey everybody. Have you ever taken your laptop and hit it with a hammer before? I mean, everything just went whack-a-doodle. So, I don't know if these guys brought something back from Hoover House or Eisenhower Bridge or maybe even Devil's Den, but we're going to get them in here and we're going to find out about it. We are still downloading this YouTube video. Everything is wacky tonight. Does it sound like I'm landing planes in here? Can I get a 5-5 if everything's okay? My air conditioner's out. It's 95 degrees inside. You're going to hear birds singing and wind chimes. It's going to be wacky, but this is kind of how it has to be. I'm so sorry we're late. Thank you for waiting. Y'all were kind and good in the Journey Through the Gate sandbox. I appreciate it. 5-5, is it loud, the fan? Because, oh my God, it's so hot. I'm just sweating. It's terrible, but here we are. We're going to power through this shit. Here we go. Let's bring on my wonderful round table. I've got two of these wonderful people in here now. Hi, everybody. We'll say hi to everybody in just a second. Let me get everybody in. Everybody's been waiting. Here is Donny Cho, everybody. Welcome in. Hello, Donny.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetie? Sorry for the delay.
No, it's all good.
Uploading, 33%, 45%. I was like, are you kidding me? But there it is. And we've got Dylan in here. Come on in here, Dylan. Hi, guys.
Hey,
so
how's it
sorry
going?
for the delay, babe.
Hey, new camera angle. Nice.
Yeah. It's before we used to have the... Can you guys hear me? I mean, I can actually hear windage. Yeah. You're okay? All right.
Yeah,
you sound fine.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. So how was it? I'm so sorry I wasn't there, but I didn't make you sick, so you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It was a great
nice
experience,
gift.
I think.
Oh my God.
It was awesome to meet, Donny and Laura in person finally, because we've been talking online for almost a year now. So it was like connecting with two lost friends.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, there's nothing like it. There is absolutely nothing like it when you finally get to meet somebody and do that. That's amazing. And again, I apologize for not being there. I hope you guys explain to Rob, our great friend out there. Is he not fantastic?
Oh yeah,
he's great. Yeah,
awesome.
Mind blowing, isn't he?
Very awesome. Yeah.
And Laura will be joining us too, guys. Will you guys assist me in saying hi to everybody tonight? I'm surrounded by iced tea and oh gosh, how hot is it where you guys are? This is crazy, the weather. I think it was like tornadoes and...
It's like 90 up in Pennsylvania today where I'm at.
That's, yeah.
It's raining like crazy right now for me.
Let's shut this light out. I mean, even the lights are bothering me. I just want to sit in the dark and lay in some ice or something. I actually had...
I know exactly how you feel.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I had an ice pack in my bra today. It was amazing. I mean, it was just, I'm like, why not? And why didn't I think of this before?
Yeah, I didn't wear my bra today, so I didn't get that opportunity.
Well, you might want to experiment and put ice packs in other places, because I'm telling you what, it's, don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock it till you try it.
Why don't you just put a bra in a freezer and just keep it in the freezer and then switch it out?
You freeze the bra.
Yeah.
That's old school. I used to wash them, and they put them... Marilyn Monroe did that in the movie. I think it was Some Like It Hot. Was it Some Like It Hot, chat? Speaking of chat, help me say hi to everybody in here. We've got the wonderful Lindsay with Grey Wolf Paranormal. I love you, darling. Big hugs. Can you imagine being able to meet these people everywhere? I mean, we've got another shot in August, so... I don't think these guys are going to let me get away with it again. I think they'll probably put me in a hazmat suit, just put me in the trunk and take me out there to Gettysburg.
You'll be like Bubble Boy.
Yeah, right. Hello, Linda. How you doing? Be kind, Aunt Edna, Chris Jarvis. Welcome, Sasha Bell. You got anybody you want to say hi to,
Linda Lee
Donny?
Chavez. Hello, Chris Jarvis. Lindsay. I'm just like reading.
And to PETA, wherever you are. And I know it's PETA. I just refuse to call him Petaho. So if anybody sees or hears PETA, we're still sending out love and light for him and his family, and seriously, and anybody else out there that needs it. You know, I mean, I'm sure after the weekend you guys just had it, isn't it reaffirming, guys, that there's something out there, there's something going on, you know? There's definitely something after, you know? Look at my skulls here, they're going crazy. Everything's wacky. Is it the blood moon? What is it? The bad energy?
Mercury in retrograde or whatever that is?
I don't know. There's a lot of black magic in there.
Is that still going on? Is Mercury still retrograding?
I don't know. That's not my wheelhouse. What's Salvador saying? When I was small, we would wet t-shirts. Oh, he's talking about wetting t-shirts and putting them over. Wet t-shirt contest, I think he's talking about. I don't know. We're not doing that tonight, Salvador. Maybe that's a Monday Madness. We'll do wet t-shirt contest.
Get Steve on there in a wet t-shirt.
7-year itch. Oh, it was 7-year itch. Marilyn Monroe put her underwear in the freezer. I kid you not, made it popular.
I mean, that would be one way to address a 7-year
Hey,
itch.
Monica, how you doing? I'm gonna see if I can fix my camera. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. This is terrible. I mean, really
yeah.
Really
so
bad.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, like in so many ways. And having Rob there definitely made it so much more impactful because he was able to see everything live.
Right. Now, this is what I'd like to do. Since Laura's going to be just a little bit late, she said she's going to pop in. Hello, Cassie. I love you, darling. And Glenn, did I say hi to you, Glenn? Hi, honey. I don't have anything on Rob. I didn't pull any pictures, or I don't have anything on the seminar except what Jim and everybody wrote to me and told me that went on. He just said he loved you guys, but he didn't tell me any of like the stuff that you're willing to share. Now, I realize that when you connect or you did table tipping or maybe Rob had a message and it might be personal, so you know only what you're
I'm ready to tell it all.
Share.
I'm ready to tell it all.
Well, we know you're an open book, Donny, but I was just I'm just saying. Laura too, so
we all talked
tell
about
the story. Tell what happened, your guys' perspective of first getting there. Did you meet at Hoover House? I do have some pictures of that, but just the house itself.
Okay.
And when did you meet Rob? Because let's start there and explain your vantage points from, did you go to the seminar? Because they were raising money for the no-kill shelter. He did like a talk or something, correct?
Yeah.
All right, and while you guys tell that, I'm going to see if I can add this video.
Wait,
oh, gosh.
Dylan, do you remember who got there? Did you get there first?
Yeah,
you arrived first, right?
I was there first, and it's kind of funny because I had the longest drive. I don't know how that ended up. So I had a 4.5-hour drive down, and I got there like an hour or so before everyone else, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, I got it. I think I got it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I got there, I checked in. I met Pam and Steve. And
fantastic people.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Breakfast is amazing there. If you ever get the opportunity to go. I wish they had like second and third servings. That was great. But yeah, we get there, me and my brother, we go up, we check in, and we stayed in, I think it was the Hoover room, right, Donnie?
You guys stayed in the Hoover?
Was that the one where the owner's daughter died in? That was the one, right?
Well, I believe.
Talking about your room?
Okay,
yes.
When you went in, it had the big bed like right in front, like as you walked in, and then to the right, it had another room where you could go off, and there was like pipes coming out of the floor up in the corner.
This was one with a library in it.
Okay,
so you would have bookshelves.
That's the Holzer room.
The Holzer, okay.
Yeah.
Now this is like I don't know the whole backstory of the Hoover house, so you'll have to help me out here. But
yeah, you're gonna have to fill us in on that.
Well, it's almost better if you don't. Yeah. If you had any experience or thought you heard something. That's why this is great as a live reveal, because I have no idea anything that went down. You know.
Yeah, this was like a completely open book to me because I didn't have any backstory going into it. I didn't have anything to hold on to look for, to kind of like, I don't know, build like a narrative in my head of what I thought was going to happen. So it's wide open for me. But we get there. Pam takes us upstairs, and we kind of just hang out for a little bit, waiting for, Donny and Laura to arrive. So we're up there. Probably an hour or so passes by, and Laura sends me a text. We're downstairs. We go down, and we all, meet for the first time. And then Rob didn't show up for a while. Because we got there, we're there like 11, 12.
Yeah.
I think he showed up till closer to 2.
Like meeting people, greeting, saying hi, introducing each other to one another. We're all at the bar area. By the way, that bar area is dope. They got a dope bar set up over there.
Is that not awesome? Yeah. I love the little restaurant too. I mean, the weddings and stuff there. I said I'd love to get my hands on that. Being a floral designer and a wedding planner and all that. That place could just be off.
I'm telling you, I feel like
flowers,
Hoover House would be so good for like a small little house party.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
With like the bar and everything.
Oh my gosh, and the weddings, can you table tipping right before you get married? You might have a ghost come through and say, "Don't marry him, man, because he was doing this and this," or do marry him, because
if I ever get married, I'll do it in there.
Could go either way.
Yeah.
It could go either way. Get your readings before you put on the ring. I mean, that would be amazing.
You should have to walk through it before you say I do it. Standard.
Absolutely. Let the spirits judge them for you. I mean, that would be amazing. Don't do it. She's after all your money. So, that would be amazing.
So I think like how long were we there for before the tour started? Like an hour or so, you'd say?
Yeah, something like that. Because we all gathered, like you said. There's like a big meet and greet. There's actually a big turnout. Jim's sister, I don't remember her name, and her husband were there, and they actually told us about another place that they stayed in, which is the Fainting Goat Farm or something like that up in New York. Mm-hmm. And
oh God.
Jim's sister's husband had quite the experience there. He said he was laying in bed at night and felt like someone was pulling the covers off of him. He had like a voice right in his ear. I can't remember if it whispered or yelled at him to get out. I think he said he got clawed like by a ghost cat or something along those lines. So we met them.
And this was Jim or his brother-in-law?
Jim's sister, his brother-in-law, his sister's
I love him. And he's really coming into his abilities. I mean,
he is too. I was amazed.
Oh my gosh. I sat next to him at the bar and he's like, "I don't understand why things happen." Everybody said, "Honey, you don't understand." I said, "The next year is going to be off the hizzy for you." I said, your stuff is I can see it. It's almost like you could see it just cracking and the light was coming. I mean, it was just, I can't even describe how I saw it. We were sitting at that bar.
Yep.
At that bar. And I told him, and he's like, no. And I'm like, you're blocking it. Stop that. And I grabbed his hands, and I just, we did this, like, breathe it there. I said, that's it. Just let it go. And I said,
just
maybe
let
it go, and it did. It just went crazy. I've been hearing about him. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's so exciting when somebody...
I was about to ask you, Cisco and Dylan, which one's Jim again? Because I didn't get their names in the beginning. So, like, I didn't know anyone's name.
Jim is the older gentleman. Yeah, you
was he the one who was married to the lady or her brother? Because that lady came with her husband.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was like the skinnier guy, the taller skinnier guy. Okay,
yeah, that's the brother-in-law, right?
That's the brother, right?
Jim's the older guy who was the guy who stayed at the table the longest when we were tipping.
Yeah,
and his sister would have sat to the right of him eventually.
She's so good. And you were probably using her table. Because what the chat may not understand, if I make
cool. I like
a quick side thing here for the table tipping, each person, sometimes you'll go to an antique place and you'll feel a draw to this table. Well, since they've all been open to it, again, like we say all the time, when you start opening to it, it comes like a flow because the path, I guess, gets well worn or something. Connection gets better. I can't explain it. But they started doing that at the house. They each went and got a different table that has a different spirit connected to it.
Yep.
And that person that was drawn to that table has the best connection to the spirit. So it's almost like the spirit used the table to connect to the person. If that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Oh,
If that
we
makes
did.
sense. So
We didn't
cool.
actually use her table, but her husband told us about it at the end. You were
So
staying
cool.
there with us, right?
The other thing
Or
that
was
was
it
very
me and my
cool.
brother? Because he told us about the table, and he told us you can call in any spirit, and that table would rock
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
spirit was present in the room, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
And you can
But-
feel it change. You can feel it change, and you're going nah, nah, and you're nah.
Yeah.
And once you get past that, it's like you can actually feel it.
Well-
Did anybody get hugged? Let me ask you. Did you get
got
hugged
hugged.
by?
I got
Oh,
hugged.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. It just pushed really
Yeah.
with almost a gentle force, wasn't it? It's a real push. You know, I don't want to
Yeah.
make you jump ahead, but just the hug alone is amazing. Just
Oh,
try
well,
to describe it for the chat if you've
I've
never
got
seen
some.
it.
I've got some words
Welcome
to
in,
describe
Gene
table
Fox.
tipping for those who are not familiar. For me, I was not familiar with table tipping at all. I
No.
had no
I
idea
wasn't
what it
either.
was.
Did you guys do that the first night? Because you said you
First night?
now was
we
this
were only
Saturday?
there one night. We're only
Okay,
there
we
so
were
you
only
were
there
there
one night.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Rob came. Now, when did he do his seminar?
same, like-
2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
Saturday.
a couple hours after we got there. But
And
that was
that's where-
after we did the tour first.
Of the
Remember, we did
house.
the tour. Yeah. So the tour was, they would. So she would take the guests. Who was the one lady doing the tour?
It was
wasn't
Jim's
Pam.
sister.
Jim's sister.
Oh, she's wonderful. I just love her.
She was talking about the rooms, but she wasn't really giving the history of all the entities or the ghosts or the spirits. It was more the history of the particular room, which was,
Right,
you
right.
know, what you're supposed to do for a tour. I remember when we were doing the tour, Rob was walking around with us because he was new to the place as well. And the whole time in the back, he doesn't say a word to anybody.
He's
and
so
he's just
cool
kind of
like
like in the
that, yeah.
corner. He's
Yeah.
like in the corner and his eyes are just going like this. And I'm like, yo, this dude's seeing everybody. right now.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy's, and he's just like this the whole time.
God bless
Real
him.
quiet.
God bless him.
And I stood next to him and I wanted to like be like, hey, it's me, Donny. Remember me from Cisco's show? But he was just like, I was
He
like,
was
oh,
just
never
so-
mind.
Yeah.
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 Um,
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. So
And
did
then-
you get to go then? Did you go down to the cellar and they described about how it used to be a speakeasy and I forget something else it was. I forget. I know it was like a
yeah.
root cellar and stuff like that. But the alley that goes out the back, you know, they showed you how you
Yeah.
can go down and
Yeah.
out. Like there's a couple
Yeah.
of entrances and
and it's
exits
like
to
real
that
shady
cellar.
looking.
Yeah, that's where the shadow dude is. That's where
They
the
showed
big-
us the picture.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where the
Ham's got a
shadow
killer
dude. That's
picture.
the one that I have a picture where I'm sitting in the chair right before I got choked. He's hanging upside down off the friggin' pipe in the
Holy
room.
shit.
Wait,
Upside
Cisco,
down.
is this that alley, that little like
Yes.
hallway that leads there? Yeah, that got the
And it-
bathroom on the side.
I don't know if it's a bathroom, but I know there's another room. It almost looks like it could be like a laundry room. There's pipes, visible
Yeah.
pipes running across the ceiling.
Yeah,
It's a
but it
small
kind of leads
room.
down like a little weird.
Yeah,
tiny
and
hallway.
I'm
Yeah.
sitting in the chair because I was sitting. Mike Laciana was sitting in front of me. I've got like Mike Simpson and Jim was there. Both my sons were there, and my son's fiance. Everybody was just there, and all of a sudden, that's when I got. She was starting to choke me. She was putting the visual of her death in my mind. I won't.
Wow.
I don't want to taint what you guys are going to tell me, but that's.
Oh no,
when
you tell me. I want
that
to hear
story that happened
Wait, so
to
you
me.
felt the choking? Like
Yeah,
you felt
but
hands
it
on
wasn't.
your neck?
No. It wasn't like I had hands. It was like something was inside, squeezing inside. It was weird.
Like you're okay.
Like
but
it was
you're choking on
closing
something?
up, but it was more like a, like a squeeze. Yeah, and she was at the same time. She was showing me. Jim had said something, was doing a prayer, an opening thing about trust. You can trust us. And immediately I hear in my head, faintly, it was kind of weird. And she's like, trust, I'll show you trust. I trusted him. And she's like showing me what she's looking at. Must have, the person that choked her to death, and the last thing she saw was this guy, and it was the betrayal that she died with. And I really believe, I would love to hear what Rob had to say, but I got the feeling that both her and the guy that killed her are in that cellar. She's not stuck. He is. And
Yeah.
I still think she's coming back to help him cross because it's going to assist her.
No, okay,
It's
so
weird, but that's
the
what I'm
tour guy was
thinking.
talking about that guy that was stuck there,
Cyrus.
the Cyrus, the shadow person that got
The
caught on.
bootlegger,
That's
right?
Yep.
that guy, right? That's the shadow
I
person.
I don't know if it's Cyrus or if it's the other guy. They were both connected
Okay.
to liquor. One was a
Yep.
bootlegger and one drank a lot. God, and he was also involved in some chicanery, but I don't know which. She didn't tell me which one it was,
I
but
forgot.
we connected it later through like 3 or 4 other people that were in groups that went in there and got another piece of the story and never
Yeah.
heard the other pieces. It was weird.
Has,
And that's strange. But that cellar is a piece of work.
yeah.
And she was killed in that alley when you're going out
Mhm.
and you go up and out.
Yeah.
She died in that alley. They kept calling her Alley because she was saying alley, alley, alley.
Wow.
And I said, no, her name is not Alley. She was killed in the alley. You see, it was wild. See, this is why you have to keep going over stuff. And like
Yeah.
you said, Dylan, in the beginning, not going in with any, preconceived notions. And
Yep.
it was good you didn't know so much of the history. But I digress. Anyway, that cellar's is something else, isn't it?
Well, that was the end of the tour. That
Laura's
was like
here.
the,
Let's bring Laura in.
Okay.
Hey, Laura, welcome in, sweetie.
Hey guys.
We're still talking about the cellar and everything.
We're going in chronological order, and we're on the tour right now. When we were in the cellar,
Yeah, we're in the basement.
yeah.
You're in the basement.
Yeah.
And go.
And right after that, Rob's talk starts, right? So we all meet
good.
up in the
Yep.
in front of
So
the front
cool.
door area, and they all have like when you go right in through the front door, there's that big room on your right side. That's where the table tipping takes place, and
Yep.
that's where Rob does his I guess lecture, and they set up chairs, right?
And it was pretty much based on, because Dylan, you asked me some interesting questions.
Yep.
Did you get those questions from the lecture?
I think they came during the tipping session.
Oh, cool. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I think they did. I
Because-
can't remember.
I totally agree with Rob on the whole concept. Can I tell the question?
Yeah.
It
Go ahead.
was ghosts are, Rob and I both call earthbound spirits ghosts.
Yep.
And if you've crossed over and you come back and visit, it doesn't matter. Once you've crossed over, I consider you a spirit, because it's like the ghost still has all the earthly burdens, whereas the spirit still has the memory of those things, but not the pain and not the heaviness of it. And you're more spirit. That's how I describe it. Other people may do different, but that's,
That
I
honestly made a
agree.
lot of sense when he started, explaining it like that.
That's how I feel. Until there's something else that kind of shifts that, that's kind of where I am, because I've noticed there's an absolute profound difference between a ghost that's here, and you can tell, you can feel it, that they've never crossed over, as different as one, like say that case I was on where the farmer was always coming in and sitting at the table, and he did this for 38 years or some mess, and his wife was actually coming back like this, much like this girl that I forget her name, but it's not Allie, and like she's doing, she was coming back from the other side to try to coax him over, and he couldn't even see her. He couldn't even see her. And we could see both of them, and both of their energies felt so completely different, much, much lighter, where this is all heavy and kind of got that, even if it's gray, smoky kind of feel going through. We've got some pictures later. It's not ones that you sent me. I have all the ones that you sent me, Laura, but I did find a couple on the Suicide Bridge. And before we even talk about that, Laura definitely came up with a good idea. Disclaimer that if that's something that you don't want to hear about, we want to let you know ahead of time. And if you are feeling or know someone that is going through that, please call out and get help. There's so many different numbers. The suicide hotline, if one of my mods could find that and post it, we would love to. But don't let this trigger that. Let's look at this as these people are going through their part of their journey, whether they're earthbound or visitation, because people keep calling them back. And I can guarantee you, after 50 years of doing this, I can promise you that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Get help, reach out, get a friend, and help each other through, because it doesn't stop. I'm not saying you're stuck, but you don't get out like that, and you just added to it. So just finish it here, and deal with it. We're here to learn, so just push through. But you can always get help. I mean, absolutely. Okay, guys? But, okay, so the seminar. So you guys sat through that. Now that...
I'll tell you a quick little story of something that happened
Cool.
right as the seminar.
Go ahead, you talk. I'll be right back. I'm not going anywhere.
Laura, you remember this part? Where when I ran up to you before the seminar started, I was like, dude, I think I pissed off that ghost downstairs.
Oh, Donny, must we talk about this on here?
But I was legit worried about that.
Well, you should be.
It was an accident. Like, I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, it was
so I was
not
like,
an
oh
accident.
no, did I unleash Pandora's box? Like, I was like sitting there thinking, like, I am going to get so messed with so hard tonight. I like insulted the crap out of this guy by accident. I was like, oh no, I'm screwed. Like, I was getting nervous. I was legitimately nervous because it was a total accident.
It was not. It was not.
You can't take Donny anywhere. What is he doing?
Absolutely not. I don't know who he is. I never saw him before.
You have to tell the gatekeepers.
Well, I was standing like, because I was like, when they told me about the shadow person and where the photo got taken. Yeah. I was like standing at the very spot where the shadow person was, and I was like trying to like look around. And when the tour group walked away, I mean, I laid a fart.
No, Donny, you were like,
it was by accident.
No.
I didn't mean to fart in that guy's space.
I told you about the picture that
Pam.
Don't
fart on ghosts, man.
It was. I was like, I had 2 gas station hot dogs on the way here. I
right.
Wizard fingers. He's eating wizard fingers. Who did he drive with?
I was like, yo, my bad. That was
not me.
I walked out of there like, my bad.
Yes. That's what they used to, my sons used to call those wizard fingers, because the gas station hot dogs, they just roll around. They get longer and longer, more wrinkly and nasty. Oh my God. Oh man. That's terrible. Yeah. That's bad ghost etiquette, Mr. J.
Bad ghost etiquette.
Don't let him tell you it was an accident, because he's a liar. Because he said, I told him where the picture was taken that Pam showed me the very first time that I ever went to the Hoover house. And he goes, wait. He goes, where was it? And I go, right over there. And so then he goes, okay. And then he walks over, and then he's looking around over there. So he wasn't there by accident.
Okay, I lied.
Well, what if that what we do is we use this as a lesson. This is a learning thing here, that we probably want to watch where we do things like that, because more than likely there's probably a ghost around. You don't want to piss it off. So, just because you think you're alone.
In my defense, the guy was a misogynist, and he did most likely kill that woman. So he kind of deserved a little fart in the face.
Well, I heard that they like to do that too, especially with the kids, like the male ghosts there mess with the kids and other people too. Because did you guys get to meet any of the kids that came from the Gettysburg orphanage? No. They've been there since a couple weeks before Christmas, and they went over there, and a lot of them, it was just the perfect storm. They were able to hold off the negative entities that were kind of holding the kids back, and they followed them back. They had their first Christmas. They had their own tree. It was really cool. It did my heart so good.
I'll tell you one interesting observation that Rob made throughout the course of our weekend.
Yeah.
He noticed that whatever spirits were there were largely staying out of our way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't, I guess they were just kind of, doing their own thing, and the living do their own thing,
Mm-hmm. Well, they also, the ones that are there are already in tune. I'm sure you heard this with the table tipping, that they're actually, the stronger ones actually assist the new ones to come through and connect with, say, the 3 of you, or Rob himself, or, and I'm sure Rob being the catalyst that he is, and now you've got other people there too, like, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name, saved my life, names are terrible, but James's brother-in-law, and
I can't remember.
Bob or Rob or something.
I wanted to say Rob, but there's too many Robs, so my brain won't accept it. You know what I mean? I'm rejecting it. No, it's something else. I don't want to get it wrong, but with all of that, that's why I was saying for whatever reason, everybody was supposed to be there was there. They got the messages. Whereas if other people like myself was there, there'd be different energy maybe. Maybe the ones that have been trying to get my attention would knock over the other ones and they wouldn't get through. Everything changes it. Every bit of energy you put in that room sends off its own ripples. So I never look at it like, gosh, I really wish I could have been there. But again, I accept the fact that it was probably supposed to be that way for whatever reason. And then the next time we go, you guys have a little bit more under your belt too. You guys know, you've got it in your head and you'll say, hey, you know what? I didn't get to go here and I really wanted to, or I want to go back to that one place and try this, because when you're there, you know what you could have used. I think, are they still on the battlefield not allowing you to have any paranormal equipment like EMF meters and such like that? Or they were saying, I think Jim was saying, I think Dave Haney too from, and we are talking about Jim and Dave from KSPS Paranormal over there. They were telling me at certain times you can't have equipment on the battlefield. Did you guys run into that or no?
I've never seen any signs or anything.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I was just going to say, we weren't there long enough to really do any of
fast.
that. We drove a couple laps around there.
Little day trip. I mean, it's amazing, is it not?
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Did everybody feel it as you're driving in there? You feel that kind of pull? Because I know you went to Waynesboro and then you probably went to Gettysburg after, right?
Yeah.
But as you're going in, you start to feel it, don't you? I mean, you get that historical, and by the time you're in it, you're just enveloped in this historical living monument to something so profound.
It's amazing.
It is, I know. It's just nothing like it. There's something about Gettysburg. But again, I'm sorry. Rob had his seminar, and he said that everybody in the house, spirit-wise, was kind of like staying back, right?
Yeah.
And chilling and staying out everybody's way.
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much. I wound up getting the room next to Dylan's. I don't know, Cisco, if you remember which one that is. They're like connected through a door on the same wall.
You've got the Hans Holzer room, and I think that's the it's maybe
it's
the
the
Hoover.
one with all the pictures of kids in it. It's like the only one on the second floor that doesn't have
it
its
is
own
pretty
bathroom.
creepy.
It's creepy, man. Right out the gate.
So right away, I'm like, why do I always have to get the creepy room? Damn it. And it's the one room without a bathroom. So if I have to go to the bathroom, I got to walk like either upstairs or downstairs.
Or
by myself
downstairs,
in the
at the
dark.
bottom of the stairs.
I'm like, and also I'm thinking, I just pissed off the dude in the basement. Oh man, this weekend.
And he was going to mess with you. Did he pull the covers off you or no?
No.
He should have.
He should have. He should have messed with you. He might have farted on you. You'd have never known it. So we can't say it didn't happen. You just don't know.
I had an experience in my bed, like going again, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay. Where are we going now? Is Rob done his seminar? And I mean, what was the most? I'm gonna go around the table real quick. What was the meeting Rob, who I love dearly? What was the most? What did you take away? The one thing that you took away that really made you think or changed your mind about or made you think about? I mean, I got to kind of hint with yours, Dylan, but there's probably another because it's never one thing. It's a multitude of things. But go ahead, Laura, you go first.
Oh, God.
Beauty before Beast.
What was the question? What was the thing that made you change your what? Like
change your mind was profound to you or maybe made you think about something and maybe even change the way you thought about one particular thing. I mean, I don't know what the experience was. It could have been, he may have connected to a pet of y'all's. I don't know. Or you saw him connecting to a pet. I don't know if he was doing readings. I think he was just doing a seminar, right?
No, it was just a seminar. There were no pet readings.
Well, what stood out to you, Laura? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Donny. I'm sorry.
It's good. It's all good.
Are we talking about when he was doing his talk?
Yeah, out of the seminar. Yeah. What did he say? What did you get from that it's so much, right?
I mean, there was so much that I could relate to, and I pretty much just sat there fighting back tears the entire time.
It gets you.
Because we're in a room full of animal lovers, and I don't know if I'm feeling everybody else's emotion, and I've got my own emotion, and then there's Rob up there trying not to cry half the time. And it's just like it's just you. I don't know what else to say other than just like animals are like, I love them more than anything in this entire world.
A lot of people were crying in that seminar. A lot of people were crying.
Did you see, by any chance, I think Chris was asking if you saw Leonard Nimoy's ghost here?
No. Were we supposed to?
I don't know. As much as we have
Leonard Nimoy's ghost is on the Enterprise.
There you go.
Gotta go to space for that.
He's at Boldly Go.
Yeah. He's literally on the planet.
He finally made it to Boldly Go. Boldly Go.
Yeah.
How many people got that joke?
I did not.
That was a decent joke.
I didn't get it.
To Boldly Go. Like it's another planet, not to boldly go. Never mind.
Oh.
Dude. All right.
I thought you were talking about his hair for a second.
So, what?
To Boldly Go.
Oh no! Boldly. You know, like when are we gonna finally make it to Boldly Go? To Boldly Go. Never mind. I'm not a big Star Trek fan. It's my best Star Trek joke. That's all I have.
I had no idea that was Star Trek, so that's why I'm sitting here.
I'm so lost right now.
Honestly, my.
Do you remember the intro? You guys remember the intro, right? To Boldly Go, where no man is
going.
No,
I Boldly Go, where no man has gone before.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was from Star Trek.
He finally got there. Yeah. See, he finally. Okay. Using Boldly Go, right, Jose? Right? Chris gets me. Glenn gets it, right? Okay. Sean gets it. We're good. Go ahead, Laura. Most profound thing that Rob said. Yeah. It was about the animals and such. Which is for sure profound.
A lot of it was, which was very important for me since everybody knows that I just lost my freaking dear cat. And yeah, and I had and he was asking, he's like, did anybody have any dreams about their animals once they passed on, or any kind of signs to know that your animal's okay? And then I raised my hand and I'm all choked up telling them that I had this dream that my cat, a couple nights after she passed, came back to my kitchen door and was like pawing at the door to come inside. And I let her in the house and I'm like, how was she here? She was in the ground. I buried her and she came back and she was happy and healthy and she wasn't skinny anymore. She didn't look sick. And it made me feel like she was coming back to tell me she was okay. It didn't just feel like just a dream. So I think the most important thing to know is that what Rob says really is that like they are okay. And they want us to know they are okay. So
and they're still connected.
Yeah.
And it's so reaffirming. It's so reaffirming. And it's wonderful, I think, when we get those affirmations for ourselves. I know we so many people, we need another one and another one and another one and another one, but that's the human nature of you talk yourself out of it. You know, when you get one of those, it just smacks you in the face like, look, you know. It's so reaffirming. I love that about it. How about you, Dylan? What did you get from it?
The most learning and telling moment for me came during the table tipping. I mean, I picked up a lot from the seminar alone, just kind of the connection between the dreams and kind of reflecting on they're all right and they're on the other side. But what really sold it for me was I was skeptical going into the table tipping and all that, but I kind of want to save it for when we talk about it. But what the connections Rob made during that really sold it for me. But I'll save it for when we get to that part.
It's so exciting. I know. I love it so much. And to see people that I love go through this, like, you know, it was almost like I sat there the whole time and I was kind of feeling these little moments like, you know, because I was trying to tap into it. I've been trying to practice remote viewing, you know. And I had 3 good energies there. Plus I had Rob. Plus I had Jim. Plus, I could just hone into berries. You know, Steve and Pam. Wonderful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Dave.
Yep.
Everybody and Dave, absolutely. And it's just this hub of light, and I'm sure you feel it when you go in. It's amazing. I've got a friend here that wants to open a B&B very much like that, probably there, and do the Reiki and the healing and everything. And that's kind of what that place does without the massage and the hot rocks and the other. It does it. It cleans your energy. How about you, Donnie? Was it at the seminar or when you were walking around with Rob or?
Well, my recollection or memory of that seminar was mostly other people talking. It was mostly like people in the room going around sharing their own personal stories. So I feel like Rob actually did very little speaking during that seminar. I don't know if you guys got that as well.
I don't think so. I think he talked a lot.
Yeah, because it did feel like it was like a round table, like, here's the hot mic next to the next guy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I told a dumb story.
I think your story was the best story.
Yeah, my story started very sincere, but it had a real dumb ending.
God.
You had Dave about falling out of his seat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Dave was sitting behind us.
Dave,
Yeah,
he'll
he was
mess
just
with you.
shaking
That's
his
my
head
brother
at me.
right there.
I love him. He's so
see,
nice.
what I wanted to do too, Dylan, and I don't know what happened on the bridge, and I don't know if you guys got to see Sachs Bridge. I know you went to the Eisenhower, the what they call the Suicide Bridge, and again, it's amazing what you can pack into a day. You know?
Oh yeah.
And if you pick someplace, I don't even want to stop and eat. I just want to go. But if you can pick someplace to grab a quick burger or something, and like there's a place down there, if anybody goes, it's called Gettysburg.
Gettysburg.
It's a baseball. It's a baseball guy. It's a museum for this baseball guy who.
I know which one you're talking
which
about.
one I'm saying?
I've walked past
so
it, yeah.
nice. And they've got good food, but you even try to pack that into. You just want to keep, or the Farnsworth Inn if you want a really good, like a pot roast or
Dobbin
something.
House.
Yeah, that's a great one too. We went and sat and ate in the haunted bar. It just had a Sam Adams and a mushroom burger, man. And I'm sitting down there and I'm feeling, because it's all rock, Dylan. It's all, everything remembers. It was a hospital. They had everything there. Was a hospital, or there was a sniper nest, or it was
That's
an
so
orphanage.
crazy to think about.
Everywhere you go. Oh my God, it is. That's what the
it
number
was,
one thing down there is. Well, where's the battlefield? You're standing on it.
Yeah.
It
was everywhere,
it's just
man.
everywhere. I don't know if you got to go to the the memorial. It's almost like a. They have just all these memorials everywhere as you drive. It just whoever was there and fought or camped there or held the line there or whatever, there's a monument, and these beautiful monuments at their town or their groups, counties and stuff saved up and went and built, and everybody was trying to outdo each other. So there's some really bangers there, but my number one favorite is the huge one, the Statue of Peace, where they melted down all the cannons that they had left and built that, and you can climb to the top and you can practically see, if it was clear and no trees, you could probably see Washington D.C. and you could see, all the stuff around you, because it's a hub in the center, kind of like almost the cog in a wheel, with the spokes going out, being all these major cities, Philadelphia this way and New York's this way and Washington D.C.'s here, Baltimore's here, and that's why the battle started in the first place anyway. All these armies accidentally converged into Gettysburg, and Lee even wrote in his journal, this is where God wants us to fight. He wants the battle here. I don't agree with it, but this is where he wants it, because everybody just showed up. Bam.
Yep.
At a little town in Gettysburg, and 159,000 troops. Just in less, this whole thing was over in 3 days. And it seemed like a day, all these troops from every direction just converged on this tiny little town of less than 2,000 people. And that's why it was so mind-blowing, because everybody was, can you imagine? You're the barber, you're the dentist, you're the guy, the blacksmith is putting on horseshoes, and all of a sudden somebody comes running into the town, the rebels are coming. It's just like, oh my gosh, I know that like Buford and his troops and stuff were the first to arrive a little bit before, and if it wasn't for General Buford, if anybody's ever seen the movie Gettysburg or read Michael and Jeff Shara's books, Killer Angels, and he did Killer Angels and the Last Measure of Devotion, and another one, Gods and Generals. But if you ever saw the movie, it was just it's just amazing. And if Buford did not hold that high ground, I don't think we would have won that. Sam Elliott did a good thing. The high ground, we got to hold it. Because he knew, he could see it, like almost like you're describing in your dream, Laura. It was he said it was a cool, dull sense to the whole thing where he just sees it. If they gave up that ground, and you guys stood on that, at least parts of it, and you could see, as if they didn't have all the buildings and everything, how far out you could see, and you could almost see the way if Reynolds hadn't got there, General Reynolds with his reinforcements, they would have got overrun, and this whole thing might have been different. But that's the way war is, the ebb and flow.
Yep.
But I'm so glad you got to go. Go ahead, Laura.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you're talking about that, like walking on the grounds, we couldn't walk on Devil's Den rocks because it looks like they have all this like plastic mesh up, and you can't go because it looks like they're making like sidewalks in there, and but I kind of wanted these guys to go. Well, actually, no, Donny and I did walk on it before, but I wanted Dylan and Brandon to be able to do that.
The rock.
Yeah.
Because when you can like feel. I think it holds the energy, because I've felt like that staticky feeling on my body from it before.
The spider webby feel. And,
yes.
And that's what I was going to say. When we go, I want to take you either to Sachs Bridge. Sachs Bridge is one I think I got a chance to cross in one of these dudes, because I think there's 4 there that have been there quite a while, and I feel it, one kind of holds back, maybe even sits underneath of it most of the time. There's several that will interact with you, like smoke a cigarette. If you put it on the thing, you can see it light up, and then take
my friend witnessed that. He saw that.
But to me, if something's willing to do that, if he had the right person to talk to, So my experiment with you was, I always find out that they talk to soldiers a little bit more at ease. And instead of doing the whole, here's a cigarette, can you perform for us? It's more like I wanted to grab Dylan and just lean on that thing and say, you want to have a cigarette with some fellow soldiers, and just talk to him a little bit more on a military kind of, wavelength. And I've gotten so much more results on that, because that's where they still are. You've got ones that we've been able to cross over by telling them, we're here to relieve you. You are properly relieved. They would not leave their post till properly relieved. It's drilled into them just like it was drilled into us, Dylan. And that's just, we take that so serious. They told me to protect this shit. You don't understand, I mean, it's the way it is, and they're stuck there, some of them. And Dave Haney had to walk into a field not far from where you guys were in Gettysburg, and I was helping him with energy to do that while he was out there. The fireflies were dancing around him like you would not believe. They all came in, and they were definitely fireflies, but it was almost like they were following the energy. There was, I don't want to say there were orbs, but it was more like, I don't want to say stardust, but that's really the only way to describe it. And it was different and separate from the fireflies that were going around. And he just stood there, this whole thing. It was so profound what that man was going through and what they were going through at the same time. And it's just, that's what Dave has. He's got that, where the heavier energy kind of, really leans to them. But man, those guys just, just right to him. It's an amazing place.
I have a real quick story about that with Dave. He was telling us we had gone out into Triangle Field also, which is right next to Devil's Den, and he told us a story of how he went to Triangle Field one time, and he got like shoved down by a spirit, or I should say a ghost, and then later on, he had gone back with a very gifted woman who was like a medium, and she had said, "What?"
I think she's from Las Vegas or something, right?
Yeah, or it was like Arizona or something. But she was like listening in the field, and she could hear the soldier say, tell him I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt him. It just he reminded me of one of my fellow soldiers.
Yes.
I was like, and he was getting him out the way of the fire.
See, so spot on. That right there is a great learning story because everybody, gatekeepers, this is one of those things that you need to kind of keep with you on your journey as you're helping people along as they're coming up into their consciousness and trying to understand this along. That's one of the things you want to keep in your little book of rules there, because a lot of ghosts are misunderstood.
Yeah, that medium, a lot. That medium like made a beeline right for that spot too. She didn't even know the story going into it.
It's so incredible.
She stopped right at the spot that it happened.
Gettysburg is alive with it. Now, Laura sent me some pictures. Now, you guys are okay. You got a picture. Well, you're all here with your faces anyway, but I always ask if I've got somebody in pictures for the permission. I guess it's cool to show it. You're showing your face now. But that's the only one in there. Most of them are pictures of a little bit of where you guys were. In the beginning, I've got a little bit of that I pulled Eisenhower Farm, because you were right there by it, and I didn't know if anybody had ever seen that. And then I've got some videos.
Oh, you got some history on that place, Cisco?
I don't
know any history on that bridge.
Well, I know a little off top of head, but I'm certainly no expert. But that's where Eisenhower basically retired to. That was his farm, and he started it while he was still in office, and very much his library is there too. Every president gets a library. His is there, and a lot of people here might also know his great-granddaughter does a lot of podcasts now. I forget her first name, but that's his great-granddaughter.
Was his farm the one on our left or right, Laura? Do you know?
I'll show you the picture, and maybe you'll be able to see it.
When
you guys saw it at night,
from where the
though,
car
right?
was, because there was a farm on both sides. So I was wondering which farm it was.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yep, Gettysburg is a powerful place. Be kind, you bet. And I absolutely loved you on Sean's show the other night. You absolutely killed it, and you were spot on. Be kind. I got to say, I was very proud of you because it was well said. And I was right there with you when mine was in the hospital. Totally understand. Sorry, guys, that was a little side note there, but Be Kind did a real nice call-in show on Sean. And thanks for being in the chat, Sean, on his show, Chasing the Truth. Yep, Chasing the Truth. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so listen, I've got this video. So what I thought I'd play it just to get everybody in the mood. If you want to stop and talk about a particular picture, I've got Devil's Den toward the end. I've got just Hoover House in the beginning, and your videos are in the middle at any time you want to stop it if it sparks an idea for a story or something like that. And I did try to cover up, Laura, the part about Laura had a little experience on Eisenhower Bridge, which we called it's called Suicide Bridge, and I believe Laura's got a little history on that. But I did try to cover it up as best I could, sweetie.
That doesn't sound reassuring, Cisco.
No, I'm not sure about a damn thing tonight, baby.
I don't think anything scandalous in that.
Here we go. You're fine. You didn't show like cheek or nothing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
It's all pixelated out.
The tick on your leg.
No.
Oh no, that we weren't filming that. No, that was. We should have been
check.
filming that.
Well, she's freaking out because there's a tick on her leg, and Brandon turns around, picks it off her leg, throws it out the window like a Neanderthal or something.
There's a tick on my leg.
You need to pull over right now.
It was not that dramatic.
Oh, I would have been dramatic. I would have been burning. Lighters have been going off, burning ticks and stuff. Ugh.
There was just a little bit of flailing.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Skin so soft, blue top. Find yourself an Avon, lady, and get it. And don't buy the crap that they tell you kills mosquitoes, because it doesn't. Just get blue top, put it in a little spritzer. Smells lovely. Nice bath oil. You need the moisture anyway. All right, so
I'll be right back.
Here it is.
Guys.
You do what you got to do, and it's only like 12 minutes, Dylan. So take all the time you want. All right, here we go.
I think this will be a good time for me to take a smoke break as well.
Okay, sweetie.
I'll be watching my phone.
And if you want any, and I do have your other picture too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for your story. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
What was that?
You saw that too, right?
Is that a reflector?
Nope, it just moved. It's probably a cat. Okay, so go towards it. Guys. Like, I go to these places, but I'm not, like, trying to, like, chase shit.
Oh, these are the Clark brothers. They're built a little differently.
What?
Fucking black cat. Well, it looks black because it's dark, but it was a cat. Yeah, I watched it walk across the road in front of her back.
When I was here last time, I seen a cat up here. I'm afraid to really fucking turn my back, dude. I'm not even kidding.
It wasn't a cat though, because it had blue eye shine. Probably a coon. Or a skunk. Cats have yellow.
Your knowledge of ice color is
I
staggering.
feel all right now, but when I started walking after the
It's
bridge
wonderful, isn't it?
While they were walking, got heavier and heavier, and I started getting dizzy.
I saw you drop down a bit.
Started getting really heavy.
I'm not that.
For a second, like I couldn't see. I started getting dizzy.
No, you're serious.
I'm not lying. Up there on the bridge,
Dude,
my ankles still feel weird.
My
It's like something's trying to hold me down and keep me here.
I told you that the section
But
between
it's not really strong, you
it's
know.
not something. Okay, so when I've been here before and I've walked across, I've gotten like a super weird feeling, like right through here. It was just right here, like this end of the bridge.
Yeah, now right here it's getting heavy again. It's like, don't leave. Every time I walk away from that road back there, it's like I want to turn around and go back.
That's fucked up.
Okay. Oh. You know, this makes sense. It's a flashlight and a camera. Who knew? There's a bottle here.
Go under the bridge?
No. Are you guys going under the bridge? I mean, you technically could.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's watch them do it.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. If you want to go, you can go.
No, I'm saying I don't think, like, to shine a flashlight, I don't want to go down there.
I'm zooming in. Let's see. Let's check out the other side.
For those of you who do not know, this is actual paranormal investigation. This is what it really looks like. If you added a lot of production to this and a couple of people going, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?"
How are you guys doing down there?
It would be just like a
Oh,
show.
you guys are over on that side?
Sasha Bell, I agree. I love that movie. the song where they're all together before the battle and they're singing. You remember? Oh man, that's so good. If y'all haven't seen that, go watch Glory. Yeah, it's good. Denzel Washington cries, drops a tear big time. I was thinking that too, Sean. Oh, it's a frog? Is that a frog? What the hell was that?
I think that was Donnie.
It was Donny farting.
How are you feeling, Laura?
I feel fine right now.
Yeah, I feel okay.
Uh,
Man, it does look creepy.
oh, okay, that was weird.
What? What happened?
I just felt like
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
water, like a droplet of water went right
Here we go.
on my
Oh.
leg. But like it doesn't rain sideways. Okay, that was really weird.
I hope my thing
It's
works.
not even like misting, is it?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
so
well.
nervous.
I mean,
I'm so nervous. I'm so
Why
nervous.
would I feel?
No, there's
like,
more, Laura. This
literally,
was
like,
nothing.
Okay, my arm's over my leg. It's not gonna hit.
That's gold, man.
That came out of nowhere. I was like, what? Like you felt it on your skin?
Yeah, like it felt like 'cause
She
I had
told
sweatpants
me
on,
to
it
do
felt like
something
water, a drop of
to
water
cover
went
it.
through
That
my
was the
pants.
best I could do in short
Hit my
notice. I'm
leg.
sorry.
Damn.
That's hilarious.
It just
We'll see that again. It was great. That was freaking great.
my pants.
Wait, one more
I'm
time. Wait,
doing
wait.
an instant replay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, guys?
Wait a minute,
Do
where
that
is it?
play by play.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right about here. I don't want to miss it.
Oh, okay, that was
What?
God.
She
I
got
just felt
hit
like
in the leg. Something poked her
like water.
Is that
No.
frog part?
with like a
droplet of
wet
water
finger.
Went right
The
here
wet thing.
on my
Right
leg.
there.
Like a, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't rain sideways.
Exactly. It doesn't rain
Okay,
sideways.
that was really weird.
I agree 100%.
It's not even like misting, is it?
No. Well, I mean, it's pretty.
Well, why would I feel like
It's
literally like okay, my arm's over my leg, like it's not gonna hit.
I spare no expense here on Journey Through the Gate, guys. It's all for you. It's all for you, people. It's all for you.
Oh my.
Like you felt it on your skin?
Yeah, like it felt like because I had sweatpants on, it felt
Yeah.
like water.
Now,
a
what
drop
are you
of water
guys
went through
feeling
my
walking
pants.
around out there in the
And it
woods?
hit my leg.
Yeah.
Like, it
Did you?
just-
You got a definite feeling. You had to have. It's a heavy. Did you? Anybody feel a heaviness?
Oh, just
Brandon
wait.
had a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brent had a
Wet
lot
on
of
there?
Pants
activity.
aren't wet?
There,
No.
Oh.
Something licked
one
your
spot-
leg, Laura.
I mean, did it
Something
feel
licked.
cold?
Something
It
licked
crawled
your
up and
leg.
licked it.
Cool, yes.
You know, I'm wondering
God.
if something reached over the bridge and just poked you with
swear,
a with a
I'm not
cold
making it up.
finger. It would have felt wet. I mean, am I right?
I don't know. Are
A
you guys
really cold.
picking up on anything?
I mean, how cold is how cold is dead?
It wasn't like super cold, but it felt cool.
I mean, that's it. Ice cold. I mean, everybody says. Okay, here's Devil's Den, and it's just a couple of pictures and a little bit of the detail. This is deep, Laura. This is deep. Bless her heart. Those things, man. When you look at that, Dylan, bless him, bless him. That's then and now, like overlapped, and you can still walk in there. That one is called Hell's Kitchen. Did you guys see that?
We only walked past it because it's already
Okay.
it's all taped
Yeah.
off.
Yep. And you can, I promise you can feel that when you sit on that rock. I promise you
Oh, I
I've done it.
bet.
I've done it. It's incredible. And
I love that tree so
yeah.
much.
It might be a witness tree. I don't know how old it is. I'd be
It's
interested
beautiful.
to know. I'd be interested.
It's definitely old.
It's It's incredible. Look at that view. This is what we mean. You can see forever on some of these hills. It's what a battle, what a ground, right? Oh my gosh. You know? Longstreet used to would go through and talk to Hood and say what it was great ground, you know, for war. Say, oh shit. Let me turn that down. Sorry about that, guys. Holy man, that was incredible. So this was, now these are not Dylan. This is not their pictures. I pulled this up to show them. A lot of people get these kind of pictures. So if you guys have anything on your phone that you haven't gone back and looked at yet, I mean, even selfies, or you were just, you know, walking around and you had the video go and you hadn't really looked at it, usually everybody out there that's doing that at night gets some kind of the mist that goes through. And I think these guys just kind of hang around the top, you know, and look down on everything, because when I go through, I can really feel a lot of it coming from the top, like say the trees, or in Sachs Bridge is a covered bridge, you know. The bridges and stuff, why, guys, in the chat, my theory, and it's just a theory, it didn't change. It stayed the same. The tree might have got larger, but these historical parts, you know, like these bridges, they refurbished them and tried to keep them looking like the original, right, guys? So this is just some pictures that people usually get when they go. See that?
Wow.
And that's what I got. That's what I got at the wheat field, and took it, but it blew my mind. It was pink. It wasn't white, it was pink. And later on, I found out from a couple of friends and mediums and other sources that is, it's more like a calm, like they were all got together and were very calm in that moment. And it just blew my mind that you can go there and make a difference for so many people just by being kind and putting out that light energy. You're not asking questions. You don't want anything from them. You're just, here's some good energy. You know, however you would disperse it out there, it does make a difference. Try that. There's an experiment. Then ask permission to take the picture. Think Native American. And then when you feel it's okay, take it, and I bet it'll be a difference. Okay, this is finishing up, and then we'll come back. That's a great picture. I love that picture.
So I feel like we should talk a bit about our time at the bridge, like what happened, like when we weren't filming, because a lot of stuff I feel like happened.
Do you have a picture that you want me to go back to?
No, we can just talk about it.
All right, cool. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Boop, boop, boop. There you go, like popcorn.
So,
that was awesome. Pop, pop, pop,
feeling,
pop.
it was
amazing, right? I mean, it takes you back a little bit, right?
So when we were driving there, we were like getting ready for war in our minds, because we're like, it's midnight and we're going to this messed up place.
So much fun.
Let's do this.
So much
right?
fun.
We were like all tired, but like, let's go. It's midnight. Let's go to this gnarly haunted, like, suicide bridge where all this crazy stuff happens. Midnight, all four of us. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So we're all going there, and we're like, yo, we're gonna encounter some dark spirits. So, you know, and then Laura's like, oh damn, I left all my smudging stuff at home. Remember? You had like all this stuff prepared for
You
to like prepare for like a spiritual assault.
You went to Gettysburg.
I know. I did bring my tourmaline and smoky quartz and my other stone bracelets. I wore
Put
those.
them all on your bra, girl. Right there.
Dylan,
right.
were you doing anything?
Center. Your cheek.
What's up?
Were you doing
I have
anything
done that. It
to,
makes
like,
you feel
prepare
better.
yourself,
Absolutely,
like mentally or like for a spiritual assault?
I don't recall. Not more any more than anyone else. I didn't do anything special or say a prayer or anything like that.
I was while you guys were driving there, when I was sitting in the back seat behind Laura, I was quietly doing the Kuji In. It's like this Japanese Buddhist mudra that's used to ward off evil spirits.
Yep.
It's like
all of that is perfect, absolutely perfect. All of that. I mean, you know, I throw in everything. everything. People say, well, what do you, I'm like, everything. And what you feel at the time to use. I think your intuition also tells you what, it's like a mechanic knowing what tool to go for in his toolbox.
100%.
It's like
And-
you just know it. You just
And you know why
how to
I
feel.
feel like-
Can we real quick tell what a witness tree is? Are you guys familiar? Witness tree basically, guys, is a tree that was there during the battles. So you think about the power of this tree. This tree had dead and dying. If a wounded soldier could pull himself or be lucky enough to get up against a shade tree, many died leaning against a tree. That's why you find so many belt buckles and buttons and things like that around underneath the tree, because they're leaning up against it.
And
You
they probably have like blood
buddy.
in their roots, right? Like actual
That's
blood
it.
seep into their
Oh,
roots.
yeah.
Actually soak the
Actual
blood
blood,
up
yeah.
of these battles. And when
Ooh.
I go under it, that's what I was telling Dylan earlier, under like the roof and in the trees, because the story in my book in Gettysburg actually explains it. When I walked underneath the tree, I had to tell the tour guide, this is it, go ahead, leave me alone. And he said, oh, do you see it? And I said, they're sitting in it. Oh, that's a witness tree. This tree was here and saw the battle, and it's got
Oh
scars.
yeah, I remember that.
It can
I
tell
remember that. They were
stories.
like sitting
Yeah.
in like on the branches,
And they
right?
were
I
sitting
remember
in
that
the
part of your
tree, and
book.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, guys, I'm getting rid of him. We got this.
I
this.
still gotta
I
ask
was
you
really
questions
picking
about that
great
chapter.
I was picking up great vibes off of those guys. I mean, they were ready. The ones that were listening. So
And you crossed all of them.
7.
7 of them. A couple of
I
them stayed.
I feel 7.
A couple
and-
of them stayed.
Yeah, there were some that were just not ready. They were more like in the wood line, in the thicket,
Did they understand what was going on though?
Yeah, but I have a feeling that some of the stronger ones, especially like the sergeants, I know you know what I mean, Dylan. It's like a sergeant. Captain will keep on going, probably. No offense to any captains out there, but these sergeants, and there's no difference because they're like in the trenches with you, and they've gone through it, and they have the experience, and they have the camaraderie, and I have a feeling a couple of them, when they crossed over, came back, and you see a lot of that. You saw that at Hoover. How, like we said in the beginning, spirits that are there, that are familiar, connected in one way or
You'll
another
come
to
back.
a table, a person come back and help that connection, either like between yourself and somebody, a past loved one, probably one you never thought you'd hear from. Sometimes it comes from way out of nowhere, and it's just exactly what you needed to hear at this time in your life, and at the point where your consciousness, this is important, is ready to accept it. Because a lot of people come and they get readings like that, like say Rob, where he deals mostly with animals, but he does people too. Or even the spirits that came and helped you with the table tipping or connected to you guys,
Yep.
same thing. It's incredible. But Donnie, you wanted to tell about where were you going, taking us next? Were you still going to Devil's Den,
Bridge.
or are we still?
Oh, no, we're
on the
still. I
bridge?
think we should talk a bit about what Brandon experienced, because I was like
Have at
kind of
it.
like,
The
yo,
floor
this
is
is
yours,
getting a little
both
serious
of you, all
now.
of you.
You
Go
know what I
ahead.
mean? I don't know, Lord. You wanna tell us like what you remember of like what happened with Brandon?
Yeah, so I think like you were kind of towards the end of the one bridge. Dylan was, I think he was off the bridge at this
He was
point
up
on
the
the
trail
other
further.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about that after.
Okay.
it kind of started with Brandon was just really being pulled to this patch of area that's off the bridge, like not the part that you pull in where you drive in, but the one other side of the bridge. And he kept feeling like he needed to go down there. And then he came back and he was in the middle of the bridge, and I walked over to him and he's like standing there, and he's saying that he's feeling like these hands very lightly like this holding his ankles, and he's like, it just feels like that it felt like they wanted to pull him off the bridge. Was that
Yep.
correct, you guys? That's what he
Now-
was saying.
This
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
Suicide
that's how it
Bridge.
was.
This
Yeah.
was Suicide Bridge
And he was
outside
kind
of
of
the
like
Eisenhower
walking
Farm, right?
slowly towards the edge of the bridge. I remember, and he
But-
was just like, "I just got to go this way. I don't know what it is. I just got to go this way." And he's just like kind of walking.
He felt
And then
he felt like something had his ankles. He actually kind
Yeah.
of, or
Yeah,
was it
and he
more
was-
of a?
No,
Anything like a,
he literally he goes and I go ahead, show me. He took his hands and put them lightly around my ankles. He's like, this is exactly what it feels like. And I'm standing next to him and I start to feel this like burning in my right calf as if I had been like working out. And it's just my right calf. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Am I just imagining this because
And
he's
yeah.
feeling this stuff? And then, so then he walks over because he's being drawn to the other side and he walks over there. And
crazy.
I walk over there, I follow him, and Dylan's over there. And I think at some point Dylan's like, I don't feel good, I feel sick. And then we're like, okay, let's go, because then we're walking back across the bridge towards the vehicle, and this heavy, weird, fuzzy energy. You feel it. It's like thick. And we're like walking through it and it feels so strange.
Yes.
Like I almost felt like I was like having a panic attack, but not. And it was very weird. And it felt like it was like pulling you down and like it wanted you to stuck there. It wanted you to stay there because it was going to drain your energy out of you. And then we're like, okay, like let's go. Then we saw lights at the other end of the bridge and we freaked out.
Then we Scooby-Dooed it out of there.
We thought they were like ghost lights, and it was really another car.
I thought it was cop lights.
Were they? Oh, really? What color were they?
It's just it was like a yeah.
It was other people.
Wait,
people walking in with flashlights.
like
we ended up going around and their car was parked because there's barriers on the other side. Because in that video, when we're saying, is that a reflector or whatever? We're shining our lights on that barrier, but we're not close enough to see it. But when, so I'm off, they're like by the bridge, Laura and Brandon, Donny, I assume. And I walk off ahead when she's talking about me getting sick. And I stop and I look over to the right because I heard like a crashing noise. So I thought it was a wild animal or whatever. So I didn't really think anything of it, but I'm feeling sick in my stomach and I'm staring off into the woods, just seeing if I can see something move. And that was the end of that. But when we go back and we review the pictures, right there is where, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're going back and we're scrubbing through pictures and stuff, and Brandon finds a silhouette that looks like someone hanging from the tree. And that's right where I got that stomach feeling, and it's right where I stopped because I heard a noise. But I'm staring off, and I didn't put two and two together until we go back and review all that. But,
and this is where you felt that really heavy, thick feeling, almost like yeah, almost like you walk into it, and and sometimes in some of these cases it walks into you. You're just standing there, and all of a sudden, whoa, what was that? And you feel sick or nauseous, or you don't know what you want to do. You just know you walked into something different. Now, you guys had no knowledge. Had you read up on the history of this or any of the experiences at this bridge before?
No, but I got something to add real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
When we go back and before we went to bed, reviewing them pictures, that same picture, he took a video picture, and it looks like something shooting across the screen, like almost like a flashlight running across the screen.
Right.
But he kind of he recorded the screen and sent it to you guys, but you didn't get to see. Like, you got to look at the actual video picture. It's so clear. It's so clear.
You sent it to me in my messenger?
I don't think we did.
Because if you did,
I can send it right now.
I can try to pull it up.
I don't have the
Welcome
video.
in, all you guys. Lucas and Black Dragon. Hi, sweetie.
And
Ruck Rabbit Outdoors. Welcome. Hey, Chris. And Maraid, our wonderful mod.
Thank you, Maraid.
Our wonderful mods here. If you're new here, we are gatekeepers, and the only thing to be a gatekeeper here is just to keep
I just sent it to you.
This chat. Thank you. I'll give it a shot, Dylan. To keep the chat really cool, and we're just trying to learn. Nobody knows more than anybody here. We're just all taking our life experience and trying to figure out this cool thing. I'm seeing a lot of new names here, and welcome. And thank you again to Maraid for, I'll tell you what, guys, you're also going to, our Our mods like to bake cupcakes. They can either be really nice sweet ones with sprinkles, or they'll bake you some shut the fuck up cakes real quick. So it's either way, and they're lightning quick with these blue wrenches, man. So thank you so much for stopping by, and if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It helps the algorithms, because why? We love YouTube, don't we, guys? So thank you so much. So we're going to continue on this talk. Murder is a strong word. Murder. Who's talking about murder?
I have no idea.
So this is the thing. If I want to go back and ask the question, because I was getting some things out of the energy. It was you were so connected when you were telling it, Laura, that I was picking up stuff. And the whole time I'm seeing, as you're describing, is there is a rock wall, and it's not far from the Farnsworth. So we're talking downtown.
Okay.
But again, as we said before, the whole place is the battlefield, right? So, and we all know that snipers were in the Farnsworth attic. Quite possibly that's where the bullet came and hit the only civilian to die, believe it or not. Can you imagine? With all that chaos and bullets flying and horses dying and holy shit just exploding in this small town with, again, 150 plus thousand soldiers, horses, carriages, food carts, walking, you name it, right? On this little town of less than 2,000 people. So it's every kitchen was a hospital, every basement, every place we're talking about, the rocks, the pictures I showed before, the dead and dying laying on the rocks. You can feel it when you sit there. So when Dylan says he's walking through this bridge, or Laura's saying, or Donny, or Dylan's brother, who felt his ankles, it's so real, so thick, and so to them yesterday, right now. It's not, that energy has not dissipated at all. I think it's like, probably likened to walking into a castle, like, possibly the Tower of London or something, where it's just the same. Pretty much, not say untouched, but definitely the energy has not dispersed. If anything else, I think it's gotten stronger. Somebody said it in the chat, with constant people going back and talking and pulling this up, and keeping it fed and energized and new in people's thoughts and the memories, right? But you guys had no knowledge or history of this bridge and the
very little.
I have a little
common things that happened, because during this this rock wall I'm talking about was in a ditch. Now, again, we mentioned it. If you're familiar at all with military, and if you have been a soldier and anything that's like that, even firemen and that camaraderie, when you've got to leave a buddy, you genuinely try to leave them in a spot you could run away from and continue. You try to do your best. And in this chaos, they were absolutely trying to do their best, but they made a big mistake. Now, this ditch I'm talking about that has the rock wall running alongside of it was kind of almost high ground. At least it was middle ground during this battle.
I know what you're talking about.
They took the wounded and laid them so they could be up like this and not laying. It was starting to rain. It was starting to rain. And in some places it was welcome, because in the July heat, it was, I think, the constant around 90, 93 degrees the whole 3 days. It didn't let up on these guys wearing wool and eating hardtack. I mean, you got to kind of put yourself there. It was terrible. We could never pull it off today with the people. It was different. The people were different, right? So they laid them in this ditch, hoping that they would be okay for them to come back and get them. And it flooded, and these wounded could not get out of the ditch. So if you sit on that wall, they will pull you. You will feel hands that pull you in and try to pull you down into the ditch. And grab at your ankles as you go by, hands grabbing. I think Laura was poked by a cold finger. It probably felt wet and like water because it was cold, and it was probably ice cold. How cold is death? I don't want to sound morbid, but think about it. That's what you hear. Ice cold, ice cold. And it would almost feel wet. And anybody that's had something, ice cold metal touch you, it feels wet at first. I think that's what happened. That's just what I got. I could be wrong. But
Hey,
the pulling on the ankles and everything else, that bridge is known for that happening because the same thing happened there. So many dead and dying in that ditch, and when it started to rain, they all drowned. They couldn't move. That's intense. The amount of energy that zaps into the atmosphere. You know, we all know that broken bones put energy, you know, Mark Nesbitt's told us that, amongst others. Puts energy. So that's what you walked into, Dylan. And did someone hang themselves? Laura, do you have history of people hanging themselves there?
So I don't know about that. And I am friends with the people from Strange Familiars podcast, and they've done a lot of work there. And if you like look them up, you can find all their stuff about it. Tim like even wrote a book, and he's done extensive research on it. And
Wow. Okay.
they could not find anybody, any reason of suicide there. And then I knew about the bridge, and I wanted to go there myself, and I couldn't find any kind of suicide stuff there either.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking to Pam from Hoover House, and she heard that, trigger warning, she heard that when she was on some ghost tour that a woman had shot herself in the chest, and apparently it is on that side of the bridge where it feels weird. But now if you listen to episodes from Strange Familiars, they also, and I know this, like I didn't hear this in the podcast episodes, but I know from talking to them that they got sick on that side of the bridge. One of them threw up, the other one had to sit down, and it felt like it was draining their energy from them.
Yep.
And when we went, that's exactly what it felt like. And when we
the torment. I can't even.
But I don't know, because that bridge wasn't there until the 1900s or the very, very end of the 1800s.
What is the bridge over? What is the bridge over? Is it
water?
Yeah.
It remembers
the bodies that laid in any water source. So many camped out by the water, so it made sense. We're talking about people who ripped each other apart, hand-to-hand combat, shot, did whatever they had to do all day long. You know, and at night traded tobacco and coffee, you know, across the line. If it was a fence line
That's just crazy.
You know, and those beautiful pictures of the stone walls.
Ruck Rabbit,
how you doing?
There are known suicides and hangings. We went over every newspaper article known. So
that's Chad from Strange Familiars. No, that's Chad from Strange Familiars.
Okay.
That's Tim's co-host. So yeah, that's what I was talking about.
He found documentation, you know. So it happened, right?
So
no, he's saying they couldn't find it.
Oh, there's no known suicides. Oh,
no.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, see, how did it get the? Now, was that something that had to do with the Civil War as far as suicides? Because I know Sachs Bridge does. I know they hung some soldiers there. I think that's what they said was deserters.
But that's supposedly a myth, though. And I was also
I don't know.
Yeah, that supposedly is a myth. And then I was talking to Pam about it, and she said that there was bodies stacked up over by that bridge, that no one actually was hung there also. So
it was like a dumping ground for bodies. I mean, that could explain it too.
Well, you think too, there's certain places that draw this energy, Donnie, you know, that like I know that there's the suicide forest and places like that. I wonder if it doesn't call and pull them in, and isn't that it could very well be why the land kind of pulled all these armies in this direction. With so many odd reasons why certain armies took that road, went this way. It wasn't planned. You know, Lee was actually on his way. If you know anything about the battle, Lee was given a letter by Jefferson Davis and said, "You put this on Lincoln's desk and take Washington." Balls out. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. And these were good, strong Southern boys, and they would follow Lee into hell, and did. And they just converged. All of a sudden, all of these, you know, different Union brigades were going, and bam, just converged right there. And you wonder if the land didn't draw that kind of, because we don't know what happened before that, massacres and things. So we say the bridge wasn't there, but the water was. So if there was water and wounded, there were bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was ditches, again, horses dead all over
Right.
for days in the July
Oh, yeah.
sun, and they buried everybody so hastily. So there's really, we may never know if somebody threw themselves off the bridge or if somebody was drawn again that had that suicidal feeling and drawn to that area. It could very well be. We might never know. What did you want to say, Donnie? Go ahead.
So someone's asking me to address a question in the chat.
Go ahead.
Glenn asked, this was a question brought up on another channel. Do spirits only manifest when they have living beings energy around them? I find it an intriguing question. My answer would be yes. And here's why. I believe the only way for a spirit to manifest is through the subjective reality of a living being in this level of consciousness. Like, it would just never manifest if there's no one around to perceive it, because then what's the point?
Like,
what's the point of using up
if
that energy?
I was just thinking that,
If a tree
Cisco.
falls in the woods, did it,
Yeah.
and nobody's there to hear it, did it fall? I don't know, What's his name's cat, too, what's his name? I can't say his name.
Oh,
It's
I know
a
what
cat.
you're
It's
talking.
cat in a box. Who's got it? Come
What?
on, Blue.
Hey, you don't know if the cat's dead unless you open the box.
Yeah. Is it Schlesinger, maybe?
Yeah,
I'm
something.
so close. I'm so close. It's one of those names. It's so hard.
SCH something.
Yeah. Who's got it? Who's got it in the chat? But that's it. Donnie, I can't say I disagree. I can't say that I totally understand. But it sounds like it makes sense to me. That's as honest as I can get. Because we don't know. I've thought about it
Schrodinger.
myself. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ruck. Everybody else. Fast. How you doing, Fast? My Jersey boy. So, as far as ghosts, I
Why
don't
is
know. What do
everyone
you
saying
think, Laura?
Schrodinger all of a sudden?
Yeah, I can't even say it. I'm looking at it. I can't say it.
Oh.
Because that's the
Sure.
answer to the question they were
Yeah.
asking.
That's the
Oh.
cat
Just
in the
won $1
box.
million.
Oh.
And see, the first time I ever heard that, my first question was, why is this son of a bitch
I
got a
thought they
cat
were
in the
calling me
box?
Schrodinger for a second.
That's
Yeah.
how I always look at things.
That's why I'm like, what the
my-
fuck are you guys
totally
talking
different.
about?
Yeah.
I could give a shit about the physics of the damn thing and the idea and the and all that stuff. I just want to know why he's got a cat in a box, But I've always thought everybody's got a different vantage point, What do you think? Can a ghost manifest if a ghost appears in the woods and nobody's there to see it? Can it manifest? That's the question, Dylan.
That's above my level of
Maybe
expertise.
by
I don't
accident.
understand it. Good question. Good
There mi-
answer.
There might be a couple random accidents.
Well, I just
I can see that
wonder.
happening.
Well, the thing is there's a lot of trail cam footage. There's things that are seen with drones. I mean, again, all of it could be BS. I'm not saying everything is real. I have to go with things like they're real and try to understand why it is. And does it fit anywhere? If that makes sense, Is the cat dead or alive? Both is subjective and only manifests
The
once it's
comments.
witnessed.
I'm not going to read it.
It's what's Chinese? The
Yeah.
box is Chinese. And it's like a Pandora's box, but that's like the paranormal is a Pandora's box because we don't know the answers to any of this. But I think
could
it's
crack on-
extremely interesting
was very
that you
funny.
guys didn't have a lot of knowledge of the ankle grabbing and the pulling, and to me it doesn't matter if anything's on paper or nobody can find documentation of anything going there. A lot of dead, there could have been again the land. Or just dead that was there, that died in agony, that was there and couldn't move because they're wounded. And now they're drowning. We had a lot of that. It's an amazing amount that this happened to. Because it was just a flood area. You can see how they have all the hills and everything. It's an extremely hilly area, which made it such good ground to fight. That's why, they grabbed a hold of Cemetery Hill and, Little Round Top, Big Round Top held that too. And then you have all that ground in between. And you guys sent us some great pictures of that with the stone walls. And I'm wondering, did you ever hear that if you sit there at night, you can hear them still loading the stones to build the wall for the next day's battle? Have you done that?
No, because you can't be there. I mean, I don't know if they used to let you, but you can't be there
they
past
did.
dark anymore.
They did. They
Yeah, I would like to go there
so
when it's
dark in here.
dark.
But wait, Cisco, I thought you had a way. Wink.
Donnie, shh.
Oh,
Talk
sorry.
about that later.
What now? What I
Nothing.
do?
We'll
Never mind.
later.
We'll talk later.
That's a
Okay.
closed door conversation.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. Okay. All right. So.
Oh wait, hold on. Real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't want to put Laura on the spot, but do you
But he's
remember?
gonna.
Do you remember?
But here I go. I'm going to do it
When
anyway.
we
he's
booked it
gonna.
to the car, right?
Thank you, Marie. I love you, baby.
Do you remember what you yelled out the window? Because okay, real quick.
Stay here, you son of a bitch.
Before we did this, we all ran in and we were all looking at each other, all wide-eyed, like, quick, we got to do some kind of ritual, some kind of something.
Yep.
And one of us was like, yo, we got to do like a prayer or something. And then we're like, we all look towards Laura and we're like, Laura, you got to do it. Open down the window and yell out a prayer right now. We don't have any sage. We don't got any salt. Just go. So then Laura rolls out down the window. Do you remember what you said?
No, it was something like, whatever is here is not allowed to attach to us or follow us. Like, in the name of Jesus Christ, you must stay here. And then like whatever. And then I'm like, amen. And the whole truck is like, amen.
I'm doing like the Coochie in all real fast, like, please,
awesome.
get me out of here.
I only imagine what the people walking up with their flashlights thought.
Yeah. Well, it's a rough feeling to be touched like that. I mean, I truly believe that you guys were touched. I mean, the whole time again when you were telling me the story, I'm getting the story about wall because if you are getting communication, sometimes they use pictures and things that you understand to express something that they're trying to say. Now, am I saying that my spirit guides are showing me stuff because she's telling me a story? No, I think it's more like her energy, and I'm understanding it, and in some ways they're explaining it to me. She went through, and your brother went through, the same thing that people go through on that wall. There were people that died there, bridge or no, suicide or no, and they're doing exactly what all three of them have said. They're pulling and feeding on your energy and almost grasping at the living like a drowning man in the ocean when you go to rescue them.
Exactly what it felt like.
Yep.
Also, you have to consider there's running water and a lot of quartz in the ground, so there's got to be a lot of like things lining up to make a lot of psychic energy happen.
100%. Absolutely.
There's like a lot of old trees around it, running water right through their little stream, and then all this like these weird crystals in the soil. Man, I mean, of course it's going to be haunted,
I think the grounds really speak to you there. It really does. You guys all walked into it. You felt it. Dylan, I swear, now, did you feel sick, for days or off and on or anything weird when you came home? Do you feel like you're...
No, it was like right there. Then once we left, I don't think it stayed with me. Brandon was tired the next day or so, but...
I'm getting salt bath. If you're willing to do that, it's an easy way around it. Salt bath. Epsom salt. Epsom salt, there's some rock salt in there. Some beauty oil and some bubbles if you want. It doesn't matter as long as the salt's in there. And, just take a chill bath, and just relax because it cleanses. And that's it. You're done. I'm not saying anything followed you, but what happens is when they pass through, believe something passed through you. That's why you felt nauseous.
I felt sick too then.
Yeah, and it will. They'll walk right through you, and you'll feel that spider webby feeling. Yeah. And sometimes they leave a little residue. It doesn't mean that they're, it's just like walking through anything icky. They actually tried to portray that in Ghostbusters with Slimer. And not saying, they leave the ectoplasm. They have to show you something, and we've always talked about, ectoplasm with old mediums with the stuff coming out of their nose and stuff. But they do leave a little bit. It's very much the same as when they say if you have an NDE and you cross over, even for a short bit, come right back, you bring a little of that with you. So
Yeah.
your abilities might get stronger, or
Mm-hmm.
you might never have had an ability and now you do. I don't know if anybody in the chat saw that. What is going on with all the caps in this chat? They're not arguing. Are they mods? Do we need to make some cupcakes? Everybody cool?
No,
What's
no,
going
we're
on?
good. Yeah, we're
Everybody
good.
good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am noticing a lot of new people though.
Well,
Yeah,
hello to
there's
welcome,
plenty of new
welcome
people.
to everybody.
Yeah.
Salvador had a question. I thought you all have lost me in this chat. Time to go to sleepy. He's
Oh no,
got
was there
lost.
some craziness going on
Oh,
in the chat?
Salvador,
Oh.
no. Well,
I
you
don't
sleep
think
well,
so.
darling. Shut your closet door.
Well,
and
the
keep
chat's
those...
lucky I'm live, because if I was in the chat right now, I'd be swinging in all
they're cool.
directions. Don't
Everything's
worry.
cool. You know what? Everybody's cool.
Crow
You
in
know
this
bars.
chat.
me in the chats.
Everybody's cool in this chat.
I like to get wild.
Get the crowbars ready.
Yeah.
Well, now,
I like to do my psychic kung fu on y'all.
the psychic kung fu. Actually, I can't believe we've talked this long. But if anybody
Holy
has
shit.
a story that you want to share about this, like I know you already did so many profound ones, but whether it be Devil's Den, I know you didn't get to really walk around there too much, but just seeing it, driving along, and driving through it, there's something so. I don't know. I don't want to say heavy or morose, but it is. There's an honor to it as well. There's a respect and a reverence as well. At the same time, you're feeling this great death and pull and heaviness and and then you walk into something that's desperate and, like we said, almost hanging on to you, the living, trying not to drown basically in whatever paranormal supernatural little cage that they might have themselves in. I mean, we walk into that, and Gettysburg is full of this, not just the soldiers but the townspeople as well, and before that and after, and it's a draw, and so many people bring stuff back and forth too, so what do you want to I know you had a profound experience, Donny.
I had a very profound experience
with
actually.
the table tipping. Do you feel like sharing that with us?
Yeah,
Do you want to go first or you want to go last?
If you don't mind, I'll go first. 'Cause I had to get off here.
I
in a
think it's
minute.
better if Dylan goes first. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to give you guys the option. I love you guys for staying here this long. Go ahead. The floor is yours, baby.
All right, so this happened well before we went to the bridge. So we went out, to the Gettysburg, got down there. We're getting text messages from Pam.
Oh,
Be back by like 8:30 or something like that. So we go back and everybody huddles up, talks about what's going to go on for the night. And then we end up making our way into the room next to the bar. And me and Brandon are sitting there. We have Steve and Jim already at the table getting ready to tip. And, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. Brandon's never done it before. So we're just sitting there kind of moseying around, waiting to see what's going to go on. They're like, yeah, guys, come up. So we're sitting there, get ready to tip. They're going over, how to do it. You rest your hands on the table, but not so much that you're putting pressure down. You're just kind of relaxing. And we got a full table. Brandon's to the left of me, Jim, Steve. And I don't remember where you guys come into this, if you guys were right there at the beginning or if you guys kind of came in a little bit later. There's a couch behind the table from where I'm sitting. You have Rob, and I'm going to call him Bob because I can't remember his name's Rob or Bob or whatever.
It'll make it less confusing anyways.
Jim's sister ends up coming in at some point.
There were like all these random people walking in and out.
Yeah.
Too, so yeah.
So we're sitting there and we're talking. And I can't remember where it comes in, but eventually Rob says, there's 3 spirits here with us. And I'm going to save Brandon's story. If he wants to share it later, he can. But that's an interesting story, and I don't have enough time to go down that rabbit hole right now. But I did make an interesting connection, so maybe later time we can talk about that. I'll try to get him on here. But anyways, we go all around, and eventually it comes back to me. Previous to this, Rob said there's a spirit here by the name of William. And I got to backtrack a little bit. Okay, another guy comes in. They're tipping. He connects. And Jim's explaining to him, you know, you don't need to speak out loud. You can communicate through your mind. You can talk to them through your mind. And like the whole time I'm sitting here and, you know, I'm skeptical because it's the first time I've ever done it. You see stuff like this all the time in the movies. So I'm, you know, watching around, I'm looking for pressure. I'm looking for flexing the biceps and stuff like that. I'm looking at the feet, just any sign that's showing that someone's intentionally tipping or pushing. You know, I don't see anything. So I'm in my head after Jim explains, you know, you can communicate in your head. I'm like, all right, well, if this ain't fake, you know, Grandpa, give me a sign. I shit you not. I don't know, 5 minutes later, Rob's explaining, you know, there's spirits here with us. I can feel them. I can see them. There's one named so and so, one named so and so, and there's a William. And I'm like, no shit. So I'm sitting there. I'm not saying anything. I'm just waiting because I want to see how it's going to unfold and if they can connect it to me. And no shit, they do. I'm like, holy fuck. So, you know, we're talking. Rob's going on about a connection. You know, William, he's here for you, Dylan. He has a message for you. There's a car. There's a blue or silver, or blue and silver, blue silver car. It's something about a car. He's trying to give something to you, and going on and on. I'm like, no shit.
What?
Like, I'm like, the weekend prior, I'm driving home from my wife's grandparents' house in my blue truck, you know, with its silver grill and all that shit.
Right.
And, you know, when I'm driving home, I have this overcoming sensation of like heavy emotion. And, you know, I'm feeling like he's trying to tell me something. You know, my grandfather, his wish was to see all of his grandkids graduate high school. And he got to see everyone except for my brother Mason before he passed. So I'm getting this feeling that I need to do something special for him. Need to come up with some way to, you know, honor him at graduation. And so the whole time thinking up to going to Hoover House, I already have a game plan of what I'm going to do. And, you know, right there, that sold it for me. And I believe everything that happened was real. You know, there are small details that, you know, that didn't work out to how they were tipping. And, you know, I went on to have a conversation with Michael Lasciana about it. And
Mike was there?
No, he told me about his times there, and that's how I got all of his CVPs. Yeah. And he's got, like, we have a lot of the same beliefs on this, and whether or not it's truthful, or if it more or less, I don't know, I don't want to say taunting. You're not taunting the spirits, but he told me he believes you are communicating, but he, you know, I don't want to speak for him. I'm not gonna go down that road.
I don't want to either, but I got to tell you this: I sat next to Michael while he was table tipping the first time, and I can tell you this, that it was a whole nother vantage point from my end. I think he made a deep connection, and he does too. But he's just extremely smart and just very cautious and very careful and thorough.
That's how I am too.
Yeah, and but you experience these things, Dylan, and it's profound, man.
Here's another. Well, he sends me EVPs of table tipping. There's a lot of voices, but going back, the whole time I'm resting there, this is something I told to Brandon. I don't remember if I told it to you guys. It felt like there's a hand on my left arm the whole freaking time.
Whoa.
And like I'm hunched over like this. So I'm like, am I breathing on myself? And it's only my left arm. Like there's a hand placed on my freaking arm. I can feel the heat coming off of it.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking I'm breathing myself. So I'm like moving away, like breathing over here. It's the whole freaking time.
Wow. I feel you, man. I feel you. You know, and see, this is it. It makes us think, because when we do this, what you're feeling right now is that connection. That's it. That's the feeling. That's it. That's the one that everybody is seeking for. From whether you had experience a kid or not, whatever drew you to this subject, that's the feeling. And even when you get it, you're sitting there, but you know it, and
Now,
it's just that little piece,
with Brandon's experience, I feel like I've came up with a solution for that, but I'm not going to talk about that. But later on, when we go to bed, I had two weird things happen, but like nothing like extreme. While I'm laying in bed at night, I hear like clear as day just someone say Jared when I'm laying in bed. And I didn't put it didn't even alarm me or anything, alert me or anything, because I'm laying there and I'm tired. I had like barely any sleep. It's 2 a.m. I'm usually bed at 9. I'm like, well, my name's not Jared. And I went to sleep.
That's it. It's weird. We hear these things and we don't believe it. Here's one folks that just went to sleep.
Yeah.
We hear it all the time. It's amazing.
Then I did have a dream about a cat, but I feel like that was brought on from earlier conversations where they're talking about a ghost cat. I had a dream I was in the bathroom and a cat walked by and brushed my leg, but I feel like that's directly driven from an earlier conversation where they told a story about like a similar situation. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I experienced there.
It's pretty cool. So you'd go back?
Oh, I am. I'm going in September.
Oh, fantastic. Are you going to the bash?
No, I will not be. I'm going to be in State College that weekend.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dude,
Wow.
work something out so you show up the last day,
I'll
man.
write you a note.
You can fit it in there.
I'm a
I'm
mom.
telling you,
It's
you can
totally
fit it in there with the
FaceTime
right
me.
amount of planning.
Yeah.
You can make it happen.
We'll FaceTime you, absolutely. Well, I think that's amazing. I'd love to get your brother on here to tell his story because you want to hear it from the person and get the perspective. But I think that you're glad that you went and you connected in a lot of ways. And I really want to get, one of these bridges or one of these fields with you because I have just in my experience when you get together with other military and you go that route, you really get that connection. Like Dave and I, Mike, he's Navy, but they pick it up on your energy. It's almost like when I was standing under that tree and talking to these guys, and like I said in the stories, and you've all heard them, where I'm standing there and I'm picking up what they're putting down. It's weird because it comes from different energies in different ways, and they're starting to gather and stand in front of me, and all of their energy isn't really mixing together. I'm getting it from individual. I'm still being able to tell that this one doesn't believe me and hates my guts and wishes I'd shut up. Like half the people that listen to my show, apparently.
That's just
it's
YouTube.
So true. But he's different from this guy who's listening, like tired. He's had enough, like somebody else here said. And it's an amazing connection. And I think that's probably also, Dylan, why you had that in such a profound, overwhelming way, because you are military and they're drawn to that. And I think we're also drawn to it because, I don't know, man, a lot of people reincarnated. A lot of people, 53,000 people died in 3 days. That's a lot of souls. And so many stories I've heard of people being drawn, to Gettysburg and souls recognizing souls on the battlefield. So many stories of that. It's such a profound place. I'm glad you had that experience, and I'm glad you got something good from it. It's affirming. I know you're still questioning it and rolling it through your mind and going, how did that really feel? But you had some pretty distinct experiences, from the hand touch to the feeling to the whole. It's hard to wash all that away or paint it all with a broad brush. And also, you said there was bits and pieces, so I wanted to just add this to it. You take this with you, that pieces that didn't fit then may fit later.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
I believe that because
write them down, whatever.
Honestly, the more you talk about it and the more you look at it, I guess, at wider angle, like the pieces are like falling together. Like not exactly of how it was explained at the time, which is probably through limited knowledge. But like now that I have the background of the whole situation, it's piecing together.
That's so cool, man.
It
So
is
cool.
very cool.
Gettysburg is special to each and every person that goes. When you have this ability and this, even just a little knowledge or a little interest in whether it be history or the paranormal or the supernatural or just energy, or the place is magical in a lot of ways, but it is very difficult for some people with abilities that go, because it is so overwhelming, and sometimes people feel sick for days after leaving there. So that's why I recommended salt bath, because then you don't have to think about it anymore. And anything else that you feel good about, like I said, Laura, put crystals in your bra. You guys put them wherever you need to.
Really?
And,
Really?
and
Is that
take
really
a
a
salt
thing?
bath.
Yeah,
I've
I've done it multiple
How many
times.
people, show of hands, how many people have gone on an investigation with crystals in the bra? I've got 5
What about,
bucks
like,
that
I don't
Lindsay
know,
puts
like,
a hand up.
Isn't that a little dangerous?
Tell the
with,
truth.
Don't
With
you
the
want to put
spikes?
tape over your
No, everything's cool.
areas?
Everything's cool.
my
We know
God.
what we're doing.
You're thinking about it
Come
too
on.
much, Donny.
I carry a
That would be
freaking
uncomfortable,
derringer in
that's
there,
all
and
I'm
nobody'd
saying.
even know it. Trust me, I have. You'd be
What did you
surprised.
just say you carry?
It's a whole nother show.
So
But,
my
Dylan,
my
I think
table.
it's awesome, man. I love you, man. Dylan's got to go to bed.
Yep, I
Dylan,
gotta-
tell us where to
Yeah.
find you. We all know, but for all the people here, Dylan is an outstanding podcaster, excellent editor. I believe you do your own production as well. His own research. I know you get help from some wonderful, talented people too. But
Yeah.
tell us real quick where to find you.
So you can go to creepyunsolved.com. That'll be the one-stop shop, as we like to call it, for all of our stuff. I co-host the Creepy Unsolved podcast with Laura,
Yep.
and then I have a YouTube channel, and I think we're going to start introducing more podcasts and live stream stuff on it going forward.
Cool.
On the website, there's a blog too that
Excellent stuff.
talks about a lot of unsolved mysteries and missing persons and stuff like that.
Great.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic, and the research and everything, there's a lot of work in it, so go over there and sub to his channel and take a listen, and driving in the car or whatever, you're going to learn some stuff. I always do when I listen. It's good stuff, man. Thanks for coming in tonight and sharing that experience, and I'm sorry I wasn't there with you, but when we're meant to be there, we're going to be there, and I want to
Most definitely.
let's go hang out with some soldiers and have a talk with them. Maybe we can cross one together. That would be so
Sounds good.
freaking awesome.
That
It's
would be
kinda,
awesome.
It's like your consciousness and everything. We go through everything for a reason, man, and we take that with us, and it's true. And I'm saying this for a reason, something saying to say it. And when we come out, we do something so good with it. And we never realize how good that is, or how many people we touch, and how many people we made a difference in lives, and that's why we go through so much, pass the wisdom along, and you do a great job with the podcast and everything else. So I appreciate you being here,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks so much. Can't wait to do it. See you
Yep.
and get.
Thanks for having me.
Good
See
night,
ya.
sweetie.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, who wants to go next? That was fabulous.
Well, I
Who
guess I
wants
could
to-
go
who
into
wants to
my.
follow that?
I could go into my table tipping story unless you want to go first. Laura.
Well,
Thank you, Dylan.
I'll say mine really quick, because I only have like a two sentence, and then I gotta run and grab a glass of water real quick.
Okay, sweetie.
But basically mine was it. So I was there back in October. My table, I table tips then, and it connected this one when we just went connected. It like continuation of what happened in October. So it definitely lined up. It was really good. So yeah.
That's so cool. And going again, it's a pathway. It's a you see what I'm saying? And all this starts to peel. I'll tell you the conversations I had with my mother over the years. If I look back over the years, it's been phenomenal. And it's just when it all starts to piece together. What's going on?
The
What's
chat is just out of, they're nuts tonight.
What
We were talking
Jerry Worth
about-
Bra is step
Stop him from flopping.
Flopping. It's true. And you can fit a 38 in there, I guarantee it. And you never underestimate what a lot of women used to carry little derringers and stuff in their stocking. What do you call it? Not suspenders. What are they called?
Garters?
Oh, thank you. In garters. Yeah. Look at all the old saloon movies and stuff. That stuff's true. And I used to carry one on my ankle. You know, it's not as sexy as a garter, I guess, but it was absolutely functional. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. So we can put things in, but crystals in your bra, the thing is, you know why? Because you're putting them in and they're not stabbing anything. You're just sticking them, you know, trust me, they're fine.
And I've noticed too.
But it blocks your solar plate, your chakras, man. That's your main thing. That's where they're pulling energy.
Where you feel it. The
And
heaviness and the pressure.
It's a pull. That crap in Harry Potter where they're sucking up. That's real stuff, man. You know, it may not look exactly like that. The names aren't that, and it might not follow whatever mythological whatnot they wrote about them. But that type of thing is true, and it's a very good visual of what actually happens if you could see it, because they see a light. That's it. Just like, you know, you're hungry and you go into. What's those buffets called? Those steak ones, Golden Corrals or whatever. You're hungry and you just whoa, and you go right for the roast beef. There's a guy over there slicing roast beef. You got a plate and you're halfway there before you forgot your family's even with you. You know what I mean? That's a ghost that needs energy. You know, and they will go several times back to the buffet and stop at the ice cream bar at the end. So, you know. That's one thing people don't realize it. That's why you get so tired afterwards. And if you're doing any kind of medium work, which is why Rob doesn't do readings and seminars and travel, because it takes too much out of him, you know.
No, I was watching him. He really and he wasn't like trying to show off or anything when we were touring the house. He was in the back and he stayed away from people and he was really struggling. Like it was really hitting him hard. And I went up to him and I was like, Do you need me to get you something? Are you okay? He had to sit down, like, and people, like, he stayed away from people, so he wasn't like trying to be like, oh, the spirits are affecting me. Like he wasn't trying to like. It really was getting to him. You could see it.
I feel like he was kind of looking at me funny all weekend too. Just
well,
like,
you probably have.
Eye.
You know, people around you, and one of the things that mediums go through too is like you have to go with the ones that are the strongest, and if you know you've got something afterwards too, you also have to like kind of you know, be careful with your energy and kind of hold back a little bit. You don't really get fully engaged. You're walking around just trying to observe without getting involved. You know what I mean?
So Rob and I actually talked at length for a couple hours in the morning the next day. You know, just me picking his brain about what was going on, and
so cool,
you know, just talking back and forth, and I got to really get in deep with him and
that's so cool.
Really get to know the guy. And yeah, he
amazing
he
person.
told me, he was like, dude, there's a reason why I don't do humans, because there's just way too much baggage. And
so
just,
it is. I mean, he sat and he's told me stories that just had us both in tears of murder victims coming back and trying to explain between the murderer actually coming back as he was being talked about, so they made that connection in, and he wrote in on that energy and kept interrupting the conversation. And Rob's going through the hurt and pain and seeing what happened to these women. He's got amazing stories, but that's the one thing that's, I think, the hardest on people who do that, who try to do good. You've got to drag yourself through that. And again, that's why I recommend salt bath. I mean, if you guys have anything, why don't everybody, if you've got some kind of a ritual or a ceremony or whatever you want to call it, I hate to put labels, but things that you do to ground, or if you're going on an investigation, do you do any kind of cleansing ceremony leaving? Like you go home and take a salt bath? Do you light a white candle and say a little something, do essential oils or crystals, or just throw it up there real quick? I'd be interested to know, because that is the number one thing that people forget to do. One of the worst things we've ever had happen as a family happened because somebody brought something home that had a history, and it was
That's never good.
a weapon
That's never good.
that was actually used in a war, and it carried with it something so bad. It was so strong, Donnie. My hand, Scout's honor. I don't know which hand you're supposed to do. Left. Yeah, both of them. Scout's honor, across my heart. I could feel it before it got here. That's how you know that's some evil. It may not be evil intended. Don't get me wrong. It may not be. I'm not saying jump to a conclusion and say, oh, it's a demon, it's a gin in a bottle. No. Some things that are used like that in war, they absorb not only what they've killed, but of the killer. And it's just really intense in some cases. I often cringe when I see these Japanese swords and, people showing off like back in the war, and they've got the, the, what is that gun that was so popular in German? Forget it. Not Ruger. What was it? Do you remember? Where's my weapons people in here?
Wait, which war are we talking about? What kind of gun?
In World War II.
Okay.
Everybody was bringing back these German guns. It started with a P. It's a weird name. I've lost it. It's like right there on the tip of my... That's what I was saying. Luger. Thank you very much, Blue. I was close. I said Ruger. Oh. But yes, a Luger. Thank you. And, people were pulling these out of like the grandpa's chest in the attic. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of that going on when I was a kid, because I was a kid in the 60s. So you've got people that were 20s and 30s and the 40s, they're 50s, 60s, they're getting up there. People are going through their trunks, was what I'm saying.
I remember now P-38s from Call of Duty.
There
Yes.
you go. Yeah. P-38.
Now I remember.
Yeah,
okay.
That's another one. Yeah.
See, if you talk to me in Call of Duty terms, I know all the guns.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a lot of that, and there was, things. My era was just weird. People. I did know people that were trying to send mail like M16s home one little piece at a time. Like, what an idiot.
Really?
By the time I get
Wow.
there, yeah. Oh, there was so much. You would not believe the crap that used to go on when I was in the Army. The time I was in and the stuff I've seen. Anybody that's ever been in the military, we could talk. I know you could. Because we see stuff and we're just like, what? There's... It's insane. And the stuff I've learned after I've gotten out, and look back, then the pieces snap and stuff that I was involved in, and they snap 20 years later together, and you go, what? It makes sense. It's yeah. Like I said, it's crazy. But people got away with some wild stuff. I was actually playing poker, smoking my sergeant's cigars in the CQ office, took acid on the firing range, smoked joints in the latrine, and drove the baddest trucks I've ever driven in my life, and had the best fun and the craziest time and the hardest working, But we got away with all that stuff, Funniest story real quick. My friend, and this is so long ago, so nobody get your panties in the water about it, okay? It's just, I'm not saying soldiers are out there doing these things. This was the 80s. It was right around Grenada time, and it was just, we were getting away with it, okay? So she was a medical student, and she was going on. We were just in basic, and her sister and a friend were still in. So anyway, long story short, her brother sent her some acid, and it was blotter acid, and she was all excited about it. I could care less. And we'd talk about it, because you talk about stuff when you're standing in line and guard duty and everything else. It gets to be a big deal, They're going to send some. It's going to be on the letter. She's all excited about it. And her and a couple of my buds like LeGroux and Kimmel, they were all up into it. I was just there. And she finally gets the letter. She reads the whole freaking letter. It's 2 pages, handwritten back in the day. In cursive. And the last line is P.S. It's on the letter. What? It's on the letter. It's a 2-page letter in an envelope with a stamp. We proceed to tear it into tiny little pieces, put it in a pile on the floor, mix it up, and everybody's eating it like some kind of paper shred cotton candy. Tiny little pieces. Mixing it all up, hoping to God. We have no idea how much is on here. The amount we had, I have no idea, but it was a lot. And some of us got more than others. And we didn't know, but we were going on a surprise night march to the range to learn how to fight crossfire with tracers. How lucky am I? That's we got away with some stuff. Go ahead, Donnie, tell your story. Laura's back. We were keeping him busy, Laura.
I hope you weren't waiting for
True
me,
story.
were you?
No,
Oh,
I
no.
told a little acid story.
Oh, so we're gonna tell my table tipping story?
Yes, you want your
Okay.
picture. You
Yeah.
tell me when. You tell me
All
when.
right.
You want it before, during, or after, or both?
I'll tell you
All
when.
three?
So look, my table tipping story got that this is when things started getting weird.
Awesome. I'm all ready for it.
So the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm watching these people, like several people go through their turns and have this experience, and I'm like, yo, this is really amazing, this is really cool. I see how this works now. Because to me, it seemed like a lot of the people in the rooms were like other mediums and people with psychic abilities, and it was like everyone was focusing on this table. So the fact that because everyone, and I was focusing real hard on the table too. I mean, I feel like I might have a little power to contribute, so I was focusing really hard, meditating, and it was like the more everyone was focused, the more responsive everything was. So you start to see like, oh, this is like a group psychic effort, right? It kind of seemed that way. And then Rob was kind of like the amplifier.
Oh yeah.
Because he doesn't touch the table the whole time. He's just sitting there on the couch.
Oh gosh.
And like he's like saying like what he's from his point of view. And then like other people are sitting around. Other people are like have abilities as well. And we're all just kind of jiving and all focused on this one point. I'm like, I see how this works now.
The spirits, honey, are ringing off of each one of those like bells. Like it's almost like those bells. You ever seen the bell choir? The people with the water that do the ringing. Everything kind of harmonizes. It's like that. It's actually ringing off of each person like tuning forks. It's an amazing thing to be in a room like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Donnie. I'm right there with you, man.
So, I'm watching all this. I'm not expecting to go on because I feel like, well, I don't think there's any like spirits for me, right? So I'm just sitting there. I was sitting next to Laura. Laura, you left, right? I was watching the whole thing with like Dylan. And then all of a sudden, Rob just kind of like looks at me. He's like, you young man in the back on the table right now. Like it just like landed out of nowhere, out of the blue, right? Like he just saw her and he was like, you need to go on this table right now because this is clearly someone for you. I mean, I feel like, because I was like the only Asian guy, well, there's an Asian lady, it's probably for me, right?
So
I'm like,
funny.
okay, makes sense.
I love that. Rob is funny when he's tuned in. Yeah. I love it, man.
So,
keep going. That's great.
So he's like, she is your great grandmother on your mother's side. And I'm like, okay, great, cool, problem. I have no idea of my mother's side of the family's history. So none of this, like, I don't know people's names. I don't know anything that happened. I met some like uncles and aunts. And I was not very cool with the family because there was like a really bad incident with them when I first visited Korea. Man, I don't even know if I want to tell this, but I had an uncle who thought it would be funny that the 17-year-old American boy take him out to eat and feed him a special stew, and halfway through the dinner tell him it was dog meat.
Oh.
And that was like my first introduction to the family because he was like some Korean redneck, like in the countryside, and they just thought it would be funny to screw with like the American distant relative. They just thought it would be funny. Like this is like my introduction to that family, so I'm like, I want nothing to do with this family whatsoever, which is fine because they were all in Korea. My dad's family's all in America. I'm Korean American. I grew up around them. I didn't need to know these people. Okay, like you play that joke on me, okay, we're cool.
I would have kicked them in the balls.
What happened was I marched out of the restaurant and started vomiting in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty dark story. Anyway, worst prank in the universe, by the way.
You're muted, Cisco.
Yeah, we gotta move past the animals, man. That's like
Yeah,
my thing.
so that was like
That's hard, man. Hard.
So I don't know
Yep.
anything about my great grandmother on my mother's side, except for the fact that my mother's side of family, a lot of them are like evangelical Christians. So any mention of anyone past my grandmother, they don't tell me anything, because if it ain't Christian, and they ain't right, and they're like mentality, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So Rob is confused. He is like, what is going on right now? This has never happened to me before. And everyone's like, what? He's like, I have no idea what this woman is saying. She's looking at me like I'm some kind of freaking alien. Like, Rob was like confused. He's like, I've never had this happen. And then everyone's kind of like looking around at each other. They all look at me and they're like, what's going on? And then I'm like, oh crap, I know what's going on. She doesn't speak English. So I had to do the whole table tipping, speaking in Korean. And then, oh, Cisco, you're muted.
Okay, there we go.
So yeah.
So Rob's hearing her in Korean.
But he doesn't understand a word she's saying.
Right, but he's picking up the feeling, because I know a lot of times. And it's weird, though. I wanted to stop you there just to add this tidbit. Rob has spoke with many. He goes all the time traveling, whatever, French, things like that. Usually he can hear it. There must have been a reason. She may have had the personality of...
He actually explained why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he actually explained why, and I kind of knew it right away. You have to keep in mind, my great-grandmother would have been in 19th century Korea, in the countryside there. People there, their idea of like Western culture and white people are basically rumors and storybooks. So when she shows up and she's in this room and she's looking at everyone in this location on Earth, in this room at this time, at these people, she's just like, what the hell is this?
Imagine so, yeah.
That's kind of how Rob explained it to me. So she's just like, what is this? So I'm like speaking in Korean and having to translate to Rob what she is saying to him.
Wow, crazy.
And so everyone's watching this interplay going on, and like everyone in the room is like, holy crap. Like I have to like speak in Korean, translate it into English, explain like the context or whatever Korean cultural context is going on, and basically what it was. But then at the same time, while I'm doing all this, I'm like thinking in the back of my mind, just thinking like questions. And then I notice that the table starts moving by itself without me even saying anything. Like I'm like holding the table, I'm facing Rob talking to him, and I'm thinking here, and the table is like vibrating according to like my thoughts. So eventually it gets to the point where like I'm like asking it like 15, 20, a bunch of questions all at once, and it's just kind of in this like stream of consciousness thing where like the table's like vibrating, and I don't even say a word.
It's trying to get through. I'm learning with
Can
the
someone
table
do something about Tinder XYZ, bro?
Oh wow,
please?
They already did. They're baking them the shut the fuck up cakes.
Yeah, baby, hold on, we gotta pull that in. I wish I had some music. I had a friend who's got a podcast, and he has the absolute best music. When he pulls up one of these things and starts playing money falls down out of the sky and stuff. It's great. I need to work on that, but right now all I got is a picture if I can find it. Don't mind me, Donny. This is amazing. Yeah, I can imagine it was hard. It was hard. Here we go.
So what it turned out was
some shut the fuck up cakes. There we go. Mods gotcha. Not up in here. Not up in here. Okay.
So what I figured out was that she was actually a Korean mudang, which is basically a Korean form of shamanism.
Right.
If you look at it like from the outside, it's very similar to like voodoo, and a lot of its customs and rituals and practices, and she was like a mudang priestess. Remember the first story? Remember like that back in Steve's birthday episode when I first called in at the Halloween story, and I told you the story about the yellow paper in South Korea and those runes and the shamans. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
That's a mudang shaman, and like she was basically explaining to me like you have shaman blood in you. And I'm just like,
Wow.
that actually
Yeah.
explains a lot.
Well, see,
That
now
actually explains a lot.
she probably, one of the draws there too is she also they have to wait to a certain point where you're at a certain point on your
Yeah.
journey that your consciousness can accept the information. So bloodline, absolutely, all of this, so many people I talk to have that, and it comes usually later in life after we've been through so much crap, because we wouldn't get it, we wouldn't appreciate it, we wouldn't honor it the way, you're probably ready in your journey to receive this information, this like kind of download. This is cool, and it's probably not the last you'll hear now that the path has been.
The
Do you want the
coolest
picture?
thing, well, real quick, the coolest thing for me personally about the whole thing
Uh-huh.
was that after the reading, like I was like mentally spent. For some reason, I was like mentally exhausted, so I went out. Okay, so here's why I brought up this picture. Because when Rob started describing her, he was like, I don't understand what she's wearing. She's wearing like this white shawl thing that's really long. And I'm like, holy crap, that's a Mudang voodoo priestess like ritual uniform.
Wow.
That's like what they wear when they do like their
So
practices
beautiful.
and
So
exercising demons and stuff and slaughtering animals. And
Yep, I have absolute respect and love all of that, everything. Somebody said the other day, I can't remember what we were talking about, but they said, well, what, does that mean such and such is right? And I looked at her and I said, I think everybody's a little right. Everybody's a little right. It's like, no, you know what I mean? Of course we can come up with some really obscure squirrel religion or some weird
but
shit.
the craziest,
it's crazy. But you know what I mean? Everybody's, right. And it's absolutely beautiful. I love that she's connecting with you like this. I think I'm seeing that too. That's why I'm stumbling all over the place, because I saw that too. And when you told me that, you told me a glimpse of it, I believe in a text, like right when you first came back, it was right foremost in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got. And I had to tell you that. It's amazing. It's so cool. And she's absolutely beautiful. Look at this.
And that's not my great grandma. That's just some lady.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But this is what
Rob
saw.
Yeah. But that's what she was wearing. That's what she was wearing.
What do you think, chat? It's amazing, right? Well, there you go.
So the best part about the whole thing was after that whole experience, that experience took place before the bridge, right? So I had that experience. We go to the bridge and like I'm doing like this Buddhist mudra in Laura's car. And when we get out on the bridge, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be affected at all. And the whole time I didn't feel a single goddamn thing.
Confidence, faith, intent.
I was like the only person who didn't feel a thing.
It's like, too, you've learned at this time in your life, I'm getting that it's not just that your consciousness is willing to accept it, but they want to know that we're going to do something good with it. It's worth them coming through to do. You see what I mean? I'm hearing that a lot lately. A lot. People are getting in contact. Did you feel like, I know that there was some stuff, Laura, that you connected with there, but other than relative-wise, did you get anything from anybody else's experience that validated something for you? Because that happens often in these things where somebody else is going through something, but it kind of makes you validate something for your own.
Kind of the first time when I was there, I walked into the room and we're doing table tipping, and there was this girl, I didn't know who she was, and she was on the table and she was connecting like with her grandfather.
Wow.
And she just like burst out into tears, and then she's like sobbing, and I'm sitting in the corner like watching this, and I'm like feeling all of this in my chest, and I'm thinking about my grandfather, and things were said that were super similar, and I'm sitting in the corner crying, and then they're done talking to him, and then I get to come sit at the table with them, so I didn't interrupt their session, and then I'm sitting there crying, and so I think the first time that I was there, definitely. And then like, there was another guy that was on the table before I sat down when Dylan and Donnie and his brother were there, and he had connections. I think it was with his grandmother or something. And it was just very, the grandmother wanted to make sure that the kids were okay and everything. And it was just very, yeah.
It's mind-blowing. The electricity in this place, I don't know if I can pull this up, but I wanted to show the house one more time. I wish I had got more shots from inside. Let's see if I can turn it down.
It feels very much like home when you're there. It's very comfortable.
It really does. You kind of want to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. I think it's right here in the beginning, but this is where all this took place. This is actually Lincoln giving the Gettysburg Address. This is where they were just walking around there. It's just amazing when you think about it. You didn't get to see it all. When you go with me, we're going to have to add an extra day just to walk around. You can't do it in 2 or 3.
No, we need to go for a couple days.
You can't do it 2 or 3. This was the bridge you guys were on. This is in daytime. I don't know if you saw that plaque. Did you?
Yep. I have a picture of that from when I went in October. Yeah.
I thought this was so cute. We've seen some shit, haven't we? Haven't we, chat? I know everybody. Sir Brian. I know you've seen some shit, and I know you've seen Gray. Everybody in here in your lifetime. It's amazing to come together and talk about it. Here's this beautiful house. Can you believe it? And they slept there upstairs and behind one of those beautiful windows. And it's the feeling of this house too. It's crazy. Now, where was this, on the battlefield?
That was in Devil's Den.
Yep. You know what,
that's
Laura?
Triangle Field.
Yep. This is where I was talking earlier, when you're there and you can just sit in the quiet, dark or no. I know it's been closing at dark lately, probably for a while now. And but you can still, if you go to your quiet space, you can hear the rocks hitting and being loaded. You can hear echoes of conversations long gone that still echo off these rocks. I promise you, if you have any kind of ability or intuition, or you open up just to, it resonates. And it's a trip. It truly is. It's something else. So when was the bridge built? They have like standard ghost stories that go with the bridge that people see? Is it mostly like the grabbing of your legs and arms and stuff like that? This isn't the one where the car gets pushed, is it?
No.
Because even though the bridge wasn't there, I definitely, the war was all around there. The battles were fought there. Like I said before, anything with water, like even, so many stories of bodies, being so thick across the water, you could walk across the rivers, and like the Chickamauga and everything else. It was so water orientated, It needed so much of it.
I would love to just go camping there. Wouldn't that be such a great place to camp?
Wow. I don't know if I could sleep in the tent.
I wouldn't want to sleep there.
How many people in the chat would
as long as you're in a decent sized group with people you can trust, and
there you guys are. What a great picture. I love it so much. No, I love it so much.
You were so early in the morning and so tired.
But the sign and everything else, it makes it so perfect, doesn't it? Yep. Yeah, but Sir Bowden is right. It's quite the experience. Was there anything about these videos that you went back and thought? You said you guys saw a cat. Somebody was saying something about eyes and the reflection.
I think Brandon saw a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was there with Donnie the first time, I saw cats back there. So they must be a lot of stray cats that live there.
These are the Clark brothers.
I'll tell you something. Gettysburg is a cat town. They keep them around because it definitely keeps the mice down. Everybody feeds the feral cats. Every store, I think, has its own store cat. It's fantastic. You go in a bookstore. I spent all the time petting the cats at the bookstore. I didn't buy any books, or I don't think I looked at the book. But
that would be me.
Yeah, one of these little places, one of these homes, historical homes that they turned into kind of a walk-around museum, but I can't remember the name. It was just townspeople, and it had been in the same family forever, and turned it into a museum. And you go in, and all these cats just come up and sit, and cute little kitties just sitting all around, just like welcoming you in with these people. And these ladies are all dressed in like historical garb, and they're being all flashy and everything else. We're paying zero attention to them or their speech. We're just paying attention to the cats. So many cats in Gettysburg. So I even saw one going. Same thing happened to us. That's why I'm asking about it, is because we were going down this dirt road and you see them cross across, and it does look like a cat. It does make a difference. Doesn't really look like a raccoon, There's a difference. Everybody here has seen it, knows what I'm talking about. And Edna said she could never camp there.
No, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I'd go out at night, but I wouldn't sleep there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As soon as you said, tent in the middle of the battlefield, I mean, just, it wouldn't even have to be much, dude. It's like one thing going in and trying to do a case, and you're together and you're prepared and you do whatever ritual it is you do, beforehand, and you know what I mean. And you're prepared. Then to try to go to sleep in the middle of a field, it would just take like a scratching on the outside of your tent to just completely come out of your skin. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
Yeah, this makes sense. It's a flashlight.
Yeah. Now, did you guys,
Who knew?
was this the part where I saw Dylan walking down?
No, this is when we first arrived, actually.
Is it?
This was like right after we got out of the car.
I find it absolutely appalling that there's graffiti on this bridge. I'm not surprised.
Oh, you
Not
should see
surprised.
Saks Bridge.
I find it
Not
absolutely
surprised.
appalling.
There's
not
more on
surprised.
Saks Bridge. It's disgusting.
Just totally appalled by it.
Donnie, did you have the video of where Brandon's standing there explaining to me
Yeah.
what he's feeling?
No, I actually turned off the camera because I
Oh,
was too
okay.
busy like watching him. I
Yeah.
wish I
Okay.
got that on camera.
I
He was
know.
feeling a lot. He actually felt
so
he
cool.
like dropped
Yeah.
to one knee at one point.
When? I don't
Like
remember
when he
that.
walked further down the road, I saw him actually drop to one knee. I'm like, dude, are you okay?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
Vixen Doe, I think Old Green Eyes is over
So-
in, I think it's in Shiloh. I could be wrong. I have to ask Steve. That's right up Steve's alley. He tells the story of,
The thing
Green
that
eyes.
disturbed me the most was when he kept saying like, I want to keep walking down this road. Remember
yeah,
that?
man. He was being,
Yeah.
I got that Dylan was being pulled, but here's the thing. It's just, it's also them recognizing here's, another person coming through. It's like almost like you can imagine them kind of waking up and noticing the energy change. We don't know how they see it. We don't know how they perceive us. That's always a question. We can't assume a thing about it unless you get a chance to sit and talk to the ghosts and have a deep enough conversation where you go, can you see me? Can you, how do I look to you? We can't assume they can or can't, unless they say something about it,
What are you guys doing down there?
I actually got the
You
feeling
guys are over on that side?
when I was walking on that battlefield underneath that witness tree, that one of the first things I needed to do was apologize for wearing pants. Because I was picking up vibes that they were put off by it. Think about their time, what they believed, how they spoke. You know what I mean? And if you think about that, it's true. It's like I apologize for the way I'm dressed, and I tried to tell them I was a soldier, and I actually had to tell them to read my energy and know that I was telling the truth. Are you okay, sweetie? Honey, if you're tired, go.
Oh, I have a lot of pain right now.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do you have any valerian root tea? Do you have any valerian root at all?
No, I used to. I don't anymore.
So
That's the stuff they make Valium out of, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a little Native American side that note. Do you have any white
Oh,
willow
boy.
bark or
Yeah, I feel okay.
I don't.
take some of that cat's claw. It's like great for pain. This is not medical advice, and I am not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. However, I have been You know, cat's claw is amazing for pain, arthritis, all kinds of stuff. Read up on it. I started studying it out of Brazil. Clinics and and testings and stuff like that, and I keep getting. Oh, there's.
That was unexpected.
I think you got touched, girl. I think you did.
Yeah.
By a finger. There's a lot of people that get
Oh,
poked like
Tinder's
that.
back! Yay!
I'd say it's really, really cold. Who's
Like
Tinder?
You poked it on your skin?
Is somebody advertising Tinder in here?
It's some bot that's coming in.
You know what, Vixen Doe? I don't know. It could very well be. See,
Yeah.
Steve, like Donny said earlier, I don't want to speak for Steve, but I almost feel like I can on some things because he said it so often
Right.
in my presence. So
I mean, do you feel cold?
he tells the story about one, but we've also discussed that it's probably seen in many battlefields because we both kind of feel that it's that kind of entity
You
that
guys,
actually
picking
lives
up on
off the
anything?
suffering and and death that's on these battlefields, and it just would float above the bodies, and just like we said earlier,
Like the Dementors from Harry Potter, what you're saying.
exactly. As loony as that looked, and as cool for kids, whatever the hell you want to call it, it had truth to it. It has truth to it because, again, even in Cabin 22, that's what the Soul Reaper, how it used dead children basically, and also the living could take over the living to extract the energy from the living, and it was very greedy about it. I think these pictures are absolutely amazing that these places have not changed in that amount of time. Look at that. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's also awe-inspiring too, that we do take the time to remember. And like I said, you can feel that when you sit on the rocks. I defy anybody not to. Some more than others. Some the voices speak louder and in different ways. There might be pictures in your mind, or you might turn around and be offered a hand-rolled cigarette from a Confederate soldier that looks as real as you and me. You didn't have any of that, did you guys? Did you guys
No.
see anything, or shadows walking through the room or through the house or across these fields? Or
Brandon saw a shadow on the ground. He thinks he saw the ghost cat that's there.
wow.
Or maybe that was in...
Wait,
no, I
Devil's
think he
Den?
did.
You talking
No,
about Devil's Den?
no, in Hoover House.
Oh, in Hoover House. Oh,
Yeah.
I heard
Black Dragon is
voices.
sending you
I definitely
energy,
heard
Laura.
voices.
These are
Well,
incredible pictures.
Thank you.
Incredible pictures, man. Thank
That
you,
one
Black
looks like
Dragon.
cigarette smoke to me.
People say that about mine too, but I know I was standing in the middle of the field not smoking.
Yeah.
No hot drinks, no, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's when you're there and you took it. I could say 1,000 things I can't prove. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I was there
yeah.
by myself, So,
Mhm.
it's such a mystical song, isn't it? All right, let's get that
Yeah.
off of there. But there you go, guys. I mean, heck of a vacation. It was almost like a day trip.
It was
That-
it was not enough
absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
We should have stayed like 2 or 3 days. It was
Absolutely,
like,
and-
we only stayed one night. We should stay like 2 or 3 nights.
And then I've stayed 2 or 3 nights. I go,
Yeah.
man, I should have stayed a week. You never get
Yeah,
enough
I
of
want
it.
to stay a week there. That's
You
what I
never
want to
get
do.
enough of it because you go, man, I wish I had, I could take the MF meter there or the dowsing rods, or I wish I could have just sat on the rock with a pendulum or whatever your thing is that you connect. I've heard so many stories, and some people do all that, and it's when you're not looking, when you're not paying attention, when you're not thinking about it, bam, something happens. And
Oh,
some
yeah.
very profound things. I think you all had profound experiences. Absolutely.
You know what's funny though? Rob
Amazing.
was very clear in stating that during our table tipping sessions, all of the ghosts were like way on the other side of the house, except for one.
Right.
There was one ghost that was the whole time. It was like this woman in the nursing home. Remember when it was a
Oh,
nursing home?
yes, it was a nursing home as well.
So
Yes.
he said
Yep,
he
snap.
sees this
Yep.
woman, this old elderly like woman in her 90s with like a little cane, and she walks around and she's like just taps people on the shoulder, right?
Mhm.
And he said during the whole table tipping session, she was at the other side of the hallway because you know how it's like an open area
Yeah.
with the hallway.
Yep.
She was on the other side of the hallway with her cane, just kind of like looking around at all
Oh,
the different
bless her.
spirits and be like, "Wow, who are all these new
Yeah,
people?"
wow,
And
this
she was
is
like,
great.
"What's going on?" And she was like peeking over her shoulder, like, "Who is this?"
That
That was
place
the only
is
ghost he saw during the table tipping session.
amazing. The place is like Grand Central Station, but in a good way. So you don't go and feel drained. You guys didn't feel drained. You might have felt a little different, but you didn't feel
No,
like
they were like
drained
it was like
when you
positive
left there.
energy. Yeah,
Right,
there was
that's
no.
it. So much of a difference, and the Berries keep it that way. It's a beautiful, beautiful house, and Jim and Dave from KSPS Paranormal, highly involved in it. Jim's family, his wonderful sister and brother-in-law, I'm so glad, is coming into his stuff. I sat in front of him and told him plain as day that we're so loud about BAM. Tell him. He keeps denying it and blocking it, denying it and blocking it, you know. So, Laura, tell us where we can find you, sweetie. You need to get off to bed. And I'm telling you, look into taking cat's claw capsules. You know?
Yeah, I just took a bunch of naproxen, so
I don't know what that is, but you know, there's like I said, you can research for yourself. I can kind of point you in a direction. You know, everybody can do it. I mean, I'm telling you, anybody here that's heard me speak about raw garlic, if you're afraid of getting sick or getting a virus or getting whatever, or you know, I don't care if it's strep throat or you know, you have a cut, you don't want to get infected. Look into raw
Cisco,
garlic.
can I say?
You know?
Can I
Yes.
make a request?
Sure.
I think you should coach Laura through this the same way you coached me through my tooth ordeal.
Well,
Because you really coached me through it. So
he did so well.
Yeah.
He listened to me, and I was so
the
proud of him.
orthodontist was shocked. Like no, the oral surgeon was shocked. She was like, "Why are you healing so fast? What's going on here?"
I was so
Yeah.
blessed, and I was so excited because Donny, I just told him, I gave him a thing, and I said, "Do this, and you're going to be fine," and he did it. And then he was telling me he was doing it, and I could see the difference. And it's so refreshing to have somebody just listen to you. They don't really question it. And I'm not saying don't question things. I'm not saying that. But he had trusted me through things before, and we had talked before. And he trusted me. And I told him what I did, and he would be good. And it worked. And it's amazing when the doctors look at it and go, I don't understand this. And at the same time, I worked with somebody who had their tooth done, is having so many problems. One, Donnie had 3, I believe, right? Yeah.
3.
And he was better because he listened. And it has nothing to do with him or I. It has to do with the people that went before us and discovered these herbs and learned how to use them through trial and error. All our ancestors did this. It's all out there, you know, for everybody. If you have got something wrong, what's it hurt to look? See if there's a natural cure or a natural benefit that might be out there that help you guys. I mean, like, you know, I said raw garlic, you know, so many plants in your yard, so many things from dandelion to mullein root to aloe, you know, I don't know where you live, pine, so many things. It's so interesting to look at those things and, you know, and have access and work so much better, you know. So many busted ankles. All my people were in construction, so they were always stepping in a hole, and those boots twist you. When those boots go, if you've been in construction, they'll take your ankle out. And mullein grew wild in the backyard. Go out, pick mullein leaves, put it in some little boiling water, let it steep for about 10 minutes. Roll it in an old T-shirt. Put those leaves on your ankle, soak that T-shirt in that thing, wrap your ankle and wrap something else around it to keep your sheets from getting wet and go to bed. Try it. Try it. It's amazing. And you'll go, what?
Burdock's leaves are really good for that too. I had a compound sprain on my ankle a while ago, and it was horrible. And those were the only things to do. You do the same exact thing you just explained with the leaves. And wrap them around your ankle. It was the only thing that helped take the pain out and the swelling out.
Steeping poultice. There's so many things like that. And the thing is most of the time it's for free. You know why? They can't patent it. You know, they can keep trying to change it and GMO it. And I'm not trying to be on a soapbox here, because if I was, there would be no doubt I was on it. Trust me. So I don't want any comments. Just I'm trying to give you out some valuable information. You know, that raw garlic, raw organic garlic. If you can't get it, get some and grow your own. You can grow so many things in buckets. You know, I don't care where you are. Somebody's got a window or a porch. You know, so many things you can grow in buckets. It doesn't have to be difficult. You know, and you can have access to stuff like that. Oregano. Oil of oregano is amazing. I'd be on it every day if I wasn't doing, you know, Sovereign Silver and the things I do now. I don't need it, because the stuff I have is stronger than that. So if you know anything about, you know, oil of oregano, it's wonderful things. Got people through many a flu season just spritzing it, but it's strong, you know, and you smell like a salad, but so what, you know? So we've got so many stories on that. We can go all down the line on that, but again, start with one thing, research and study it, because we can give you the information. The information is like the wind. You're the sailboat. We can
I feel like that's a
wind.
whole.
You know, but you have to steer your own ship. If you don't steer, Donny steered his ship. Look what happened. He did great.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think we should do an entire podcast trilogy, like 3 episodes, just on like herbal medicine.
Well, we can, but I'm absolutely no expert. I would hesitate to say expert.
But I got a couple stories about that too.
Very good at what I went through and what I did, my experience. Keep in mind, I was bit by 5 brown recluse spiders in one night, and I went almost completely.
Goddamn, 5 in one night, Cisco?
One
really?
night.
5 brown recluses in one night.
In one night.
I thought it was 5.
5 across my hand, 3 on this hand, and 2 on this one. The worst one was on my wrist.
Why did they all hate you like that?
Looks like I got shot with a bullet. Well, it's a long story, and I will not get into it tonight. But there was some construction going on. Some sheds were knocked down. When brown recluse are dispersed, they're extremely aggressive. Of course, think about it. Makes sense, right? Nature. And they have to refight for the territory that they already had set up that was torn apart without notice. So it's just nature trying to re-find its spot, and they are very much like a hawk would be. It's only got a certain radius, and nothing lives within that radius. So they're fighting for territory. And they all came in through the wall I was sleeping on, and went across me and down and into other bedrooms crawled over and bit other people in their sleep. Everybody in the house got at least one bite. I was the only one that got more than one.
So everyone got bit by a brown recluse, and then you got bit by 5. Oh, man.
Because I was right on that wall, and I was
Holy
sleeping like
crap.
Morticia Adams with my hands like this, and they went right across, and bam, 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 bam.
I've literally never
creepy
even
is that?
seen a brown recluse before.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to. They're smaller than a quarter. Look it up. Now, if you look at, I will tell you the power, and then I'll shut up. I will tell you the power of letting go. Like we saw, I was talking to Dylan tonight and everybody, where you're getting that validation, so many incredible validations, yet your mind, especially if you have a really good deductive mind like Dylan and everybody in here is mystery, true crime, you know what I mean? Your deductive reasoning is spot on, you know, and he's still kind of edging where he doesn't 100% believe it, but he's like 99 point, you know what I mean? He pulls back, and that's natural. We all do that, but that's just a sample of. It's this whole thing. We could do show after show after show after show, proof, picture after picture, and video after video after video. And if you don't want to believe it, if your conscious mind isn't ready to believe it, if you're not ready for the information you receive, which is the most important in these cases, then it's just another story. But if you believe it and and you want to learn and you want to know how, if this is true, then I'm getting a little information that's going to help me in my journey and might help my journey crossing over or getting with my loved ones or getting through this without them is easier because I believe a little more. I lean in a little more when I hear a story. It touches me more. I get the chills because it resonates with me. That's what this is all about. We're not trying to change anybody's mind. We're just letting everybody know we're all together on this journey. We're all learning. But Hoover House and Gettysburg and some of these bridges and small buildings and places and Farnsworth and all of them, I can name them all night long. It's amplified there. And if you're drawn there, go, because you're going to have an experience. Does that resonate with you guys? It's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah. It was like life-changing for me personally. It was life-changing.
I've heard that more than once, yeah. How about you, Laura? Definitely? And so you've been back a couple times. You're getting to be a frequent flyer,
I already can't wait to go again.
I know.
It kind of flipped my whole paradigm upside down, honestly, of my life.
You need to add an extra day. Go early, and get some of the stuff in because you can feel the stuff you're going to go through for the next 3 days more because you've been in there again. You've walked some of the earth and you've touched some of the rocks or the trees or whatever it is you bump into out there. And then you go to the bash and then you go and you take another little light trip through again, even if it's riding through the car, and do like Mark Nesbitt's car tour as you drive out before you leave, because you really get it all in. But you guys had an ultimate experience staying at the Hoover. We highly recommend it. It's in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. It's on Airbnb and Airbud or whatever it's called. I forget what the other one is, but check it out. It's amazing. I think the rooms are reasonable and they're nice, right?
They are. Oh, they're very nice.
Oh, and also
great.
Cam's French toast is good.
Tip well and be polite while you're there. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't fart on the ghost, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
What do you mean tip well? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Actually, there was no tipping there, was there? You know what I mean. Just like be cool to them. Just be cool, be respectful. Don't
Donnie's
be an
got to
asshole.
leave
That's
with
all.
controversy. All right, everybody. tell everybody where we can find you, Laura. And I'm going to put this beautiful picture up again because I think it's worth
also
another
do
look.
not put out cigarettes on the potted plants. That stuff is like flammable. That's like a good thing to know.
That is a good thing to know. There you go. Yes, thank you, Donnie. And Donnie, where can we find you? If somebody was looking for you, where were they apt to find you?
This is going to be a good answer. I know it.
In paranormal chats.
Okay, here's my response to that question. Why don't y'all figure it out? You find out for yourself if you're so damn curious.
Where to find you in the chats?
Go find me.
You'll find him. It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
It's where it's show.
I'm not going to tell you where to find me. You go find me yourself. Put in the effort.
He's going to be in a chat and asking good, hard questions and
telling dumb jokes.
And telling wonderful jokes. Well, guys, this has been great. I love you. We're going to
we're ending on 11/11,
everybody.
Holy
Woo!
hell.
Look at that.
This is a special one, Laura.
Oh my gosh, 11/11.
Yeah.
Hold on. Get the cupcakes.
It's like a psychic bomb just exploded.
Lindsay,
We need to shut.
Cassie,
We need to shut the fuck up cakes.
1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Let me check my phone.
Are you listening?
All 4 devices. 11/11. I don't know if you guys can see that.
I'm
Maybe if I get
11/11 on my
closer.
computer right here.
Oh shoot! Did it go off? Wait a minute. I'm gonna hold it till it works. Maybe. Can you guys see it? Look at that. See it? Oh, look at that. On all 4. That's a blessed night,
You just
everybody.
gave the universe a kick in the balls.
That's high energy to everybody in here. We love you. You take that light with you. See you tomorrow night. I have no idea what Steve and I are going to talk about. Laura, get better, honey. Like I said, I don't know what you're, I want to help you. You know what I mean? So there's some love. And I'm here. I'm here. Donnie, as always, my friend. Have a good night. We're still working on that other It's going to be a big case. It's going to be a big show.
Yeah,
We
we're
might
gonna.
need a couple of weeks to really dig into this one.
I'm gonna
And
need
Donnie
to.
and I are on a
Yeah.
mission. We're taking an old, it's not a cold case, but it's an old case. And it's still around, it's still kicking. And look at all the 1111s. Look at all the chats with the 1111s. And oh my gosh, this is awesome. Counteract that darkness. Jackie Cannell is here. Jackie, I love you so much. I'm so glad you jumped in. I've missed you. I was just thinking about you today. I'm not kidding. And she's in here at 1111. I love you, sweetheart. And Edna, everybody else.
Jackie's
healing.
here. It's been a while,
Yes,
Jackie. Where
it's
have
been
you been?
God bless
Holy
you,
hell.
darling. I
Worrying
missed you so
about
much.
you.
Again, please don't forget our friend PETA and love and light to that family and in every direction. Keep those lights burning. Keep those big old fat candles burning. I love you guys. Thank you for taking the time tonight to do this. I'm sorry I wasn't there, but it sounded like everybody there was supposed to be there and everything was perfect, what it was supposed to be for each
It was a
individual.
magical weekend, for sure.
Absolutely, and it always is. So, guys, if you want some magic, once again, Hoover House, Gettysburg, or be in this chat Sunday nights, Monday nights, 8 o'clock to whenever, because this was only supposed to be an hour, but I guess we were all supposed to be here. I love you all. We are going to get out of here. Good night, my friends. I love you so much.
Bye.
Okay? Be good and don't be strangers. Take care of yourself, sweetheart, okay? I think we're going to get out of here maybe. Wait a minute. Say something. Tell us a joke on the way out, Donnie. Stalling for time.
What do you call an overweight Asian person?
Oh, Donnie.
That's so racist.
Okay. I won't tell you the punchline then.
Oh,
Okay, no
shit.
punchline.
That's so mean. Okay. We'll never know,
No,
folks.
no punchline? Okay, we're not doing
Give
this?
it to me.
Okay.
No, do it. Do it. Say it.
I-
What's the punchline?
A chunk.
Oh, my God. Good night. Say good night, Donnie.
All right, good night.
Good night,
Good night,
Donnie.
Donnie. Good night, chat. Good night, gatekeepers. We love you. Keep your closet door shut. Keep your feet under the covers, unless it's like 95 degrees inside. Because there are things that go bump in the night. Good night, everybody.